and welcome back, and welcome back to another day, another edition of the OSC Season 12 Championship, the Challenger Bracket B. I'm of course Showsly VIP with you, and joined by these amazing players, by the Fusion Chat, by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to something a little bit different, as this event did occur a week ago. As was being said in the chat, as was being stated, these events did occur quite some time ago at this point, and I believe they were casted by potentially Steadfast, maybe Wardy, maybe one of the OSC casters, but I was provided these replays for reasons. Some of the players did want us to jump in, did want us to cast, so we are more than happy to oblige here. So we are going to be following certain players in this bracket as we have been requested, and I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to what is to come. I've heard things regarding these matches, and I'm ready to be embraced by the StarCraft, by the OSC Championship bracket. Here we go. Up first, we have Jumy versus Dolan. Now, we don't have too many matches ahead of us, just bear that in mind. So it's going to be a bit of a shorter broadcast today. We only have this match and the qualifying match as well. As a reminder, for those that are curious, the wording might be a little bit confusing. This is the OSC Championship Challenger bracket. This is another way of saying this is the qualifier. There's a qualifier for the OSC Season 12 Championship. The event, I believe, is starting tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is the beginning of that championship bracket. It is a very large bracket, and it'll most likely last all month. We will be casting some of that championship as well as alongside some of the other casters out there. Typically, the way the OSC works, because it's there are so many matches and the event is so large and there are so many games to be played, I think there's like 21 like best ofs, maybe more than 21. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of games to be played out, and typically we work together, where maybe like we cast a day on the CranKy Ducklings, then Steadfast casts another day, and then Wardy, and then Chicken Man, and then Dave Testa, and so on and so on. So typically we rotate between the days, and we bring you all the StarCraft that we can, and we will be covering, I believe, 2 days this week of the OSC Season 12 Championship. But before we can get into the championship, did want to wrap up some of the qualifiers. So here we are, here we go. Also, because this broadcast is going to be a little bit shorter, because we have less matches to cover, we will also be hosting some viewer replays after the OSC Championship bracket. Over the course of the past couple of days, we have been receiving some replays, so we are more than happy to jump in and to broadcast those replays to you as well. Here we go. So yeah, we are going to be jumping in. Hello, all those in the chat. Hello, young Elazer. I see Mute as well. Noam Chomsky, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Big shout to Blarg as well. Oh, before I get ahead of myself, big shout to Blarg in the chat for resubscribing with Twitch Prime for 5 months, almost half a year of support. Thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. We do appreciate it. Likewise, a big shout to Ryu as well, the CranKy Duckling. Papi God, thank you so much. Buenas noches. I know he raided and it went straight to bed. It's quite late in Europe, so thank you so much for the raid. Hope you guys had a great time over on Ryu's stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great stream, and welcome one and all to the OSC Championship bracket. We have 2 matches here before you. We start things off with Jumy versus Dolan, and game 1 is going to be on Neon Violet Square. Let's go. Let us go. Just catching up. So someone's saying 19 toss play. I mean, online tournaments are usually very toss heavy, so that's to be expected. You're not casting an online tournament if you don't have a large group of Protosses getting involved, so that's usually how things go here in StarCraft. But speaking of Protoss, we have one here in the top left-hand corner of Neon Violet Square. We have the German Protoss player, the green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the orange Terran player from the land of the Americas, representing his new team, Detonate. It is Dolan. Here we go. Also, for those who are curious, what exactly is the OSC Championship? The OSC Esports, I should say, they do partner with events throughout the course of the year. They host their own events as well, like the OSC King of the Hill, the OSC Rising Star Cups, for example, and players, they accumulate points throughout the entirety of the year. Again, this is almost like the IM Katowice, or this is like the World Finals of online tournaments. As you can imagine, there are some players that do not play in online tournaments. Also, someone asking, or someone talking about bringing up Serral, for example. Serral doesn't play. Serral doesn't play in tournaments, neither does Raynor, neither does Maru, for example. There are are certain players that do not compete in the online tournament scene, in the online tournament circuit, so they are not, they're obviously not going to be competing in this event. But there are other top players like MaxPax, like Dark, like Björn, like Shin, like Nightmare, Solar as well, and many others that are getting involved because they do play in online events. So that's kind of the deciding factor, of course, is which players are active, which players are not. And those that are active online, they compete in, you know, the World Championship, in the OSC Championship, if you will. So here we go. So a lot of players, they are invited, they are seeded right into the event. These are, on the other hand, for players that don't quite make it through the seeding process, these are the qualifiers to make it through, or to have that last chance to make it through. Players that make it through this qualifier are seeded into the early rounds. Meanwhile, players that made it through based on their points throughout the year are seeded into later rounds. So they skip entire rounds of matches and they're seeded and placed further ahead in the bracket. And after this bracket, after this qualifier, we can go over the bracket itself and catch up on what the OSC Championship is looking like. We already went over it during the podcast, but we may as well go over it as well. I mean, it's relevant to the current match and the current cast that we're having here today, so may as well go over it afterwards. For the time being, we do have our openers. It is going to be a standard Rax expand, but we have something very different here. Welcome one and all to Neon Violet Square, known for greed. Known for cutting as many corners as possible. So Dolan going for a Rax expand into a third TC before second Rax, before factory, before starboard, before second gas, before anything else. This is one of the greediest builds you can go for in this matchup. If not the greediest build. So again, third TC before any other structure, did open up double Reaper to maintain some map control. And again, this is a build that you can only do on Neon Violet Square. I mean, in the current map pool. In other map pools, you can do it on Radset Station, for example. There are other maps that are known for cutting as many corners. The reason for this, the map is so big. The map is so big that you're going to be safe at home. Likewise, the natural base is very defendable as well, so you can just freely expand in the pocket base. Meanwhile, 3 probes are going to be going down, and the Reapers, they get away. Whew. Very nice damage here by Dolan. Gets 3 workers, gets the hell out of there, does pull back. And with that, Dolan takes a nice lead. He has dealt some nice economic damage. He takes a further lead with the third base, and he's following this up with a 3 Rax follow-up into Stim, into Bio. Now, when it comes to this build, when it comes to how quickly the third base is taken, this doesn't really kick in, and this doesn't really showcase itself, and isn't really shown too clearly until the mid-game. Once this base gets saturated, once we get full 3-base saturation, that's when this really kicks into high gear. Meanwhile, Jumy, I mean, we talk about greed, he went for a gate expand into his own third Nexus a little bit later, followed by double Stargate. So once again, it is a game of greed. Here, you can take this base, and you're not going to be punished. You're not going to be harassed. You're not going to be really threatened whatsoever in that location, so you can just rush into that third base as well. So Jumy's not too far behind when it comes to his own third base timing. Likewise, double Stargate, Mass Phoenix out of Jumy. Let's go. Once again, you don't really see this too often, but on such a large map, typically when you go Mass Phoenix, you are vulnerable to an all-in. You're vulnerable to a ground-based push just because you're heavily reliant on purely Phoenixes that are reliant on energy to lift up 1 unit at a time. So you are vulnerable, but again, the map is so big that you can get away with this and you're going to be left alone and you're going to be fine. Typically. There are, of course, always exceptions to the rule, especially if a player was already going all-in, for example. But the hallucination does confirm the third CC is already done on location. Jumy is aware of how greedy Dolan has been. He's also aware of the Mass Marine. Now, what I will say, double Stargate Mass Phoenix against Mass Marine, I'm concerned for Jumy. This is specifically weak against 2-1-1s or 3 Raxes. The reason for this is because what are you going to do against all these Marines? What, lift up 1 Marine at a time? That's a lot of Marines. Like, Phoenixes, they're more ideal when it comes to picking up high-tech units. I'm referring to a tank, I'm referring to a Cyclone, a Medevac, a Liberator, some of these like more beefy, like valuable individual units. That is what Phoenixes are amazing at. When it comes to Mass Marine, which is almost like Mass Zergling, for example, like it's gonna be that much more difficult. Phoenixes, they go across the map, they go for the mineral line, SCVs are going down, and again, this is good damage, and the hope here for Jumy is that Dolan turns around. That is the hope. That is the hope that Dolan turns back around, but last Dolan, he commits, he moves out across the map, through the Pinjiga machine, and back at home, what is it to defend? Force fields. This is ideal. This army is terrifying, but a couple of well-placed force fields will buy time, or even cut up the army in half and deal with it one portion at a time. He steps in! Oh, force fields are on point! So far, so good. Force fields, they do hold the line, and Dolan backs off. That was one stim. And again, Dolan, he gets punished, and now he has to back off. With that, Jumy defense. And again, that's also why this map is so... You can get away with so much greed, is all you need is a couple of force fields. This ramp is brutal to push into. Jumy holds, and Dolan has to back off. And we have a game. We have a game on our hands here. We have +1 air attack on the way, double Robo into a Bay, into double Colossus production as well. So we're going for splash damage. We have stopped Phoenix production for the time being for Jumy. So far, so good. And Dolan, he is forced back home. Speaking of getting to his 5-rack setup, double starports, getting to medevacs, eventually into Viking production as well. Phoenixes, they don't quite catch a medevac, but again, they just keep Dolan busy. And we have a game. Oh boy. We have the game on our hands. 4th Nexus being taken. Likewise, Dolan should be working on his 4th CC momentarily as well. For now, just taking up into Vikings, into Ghost. Ghost Academy's on the way. Is building up. Here we go. Phoenixes are going to be forced back. So far, 1 Phoenix going down. So in fact, 3 Phoenixes together should be able to lift an Ultra. I feel like even if that was implemented, no one would ever do that. That sounds awful. Like, that sounds incredibly inefficient with the amount of Phoenixes you'd have. Considering that Ultras are usually massive to swarm. Aye. As the Rock's going to be knocked down. Again, Dolan, he's getting his 4th CC. 4th CC about to finish, about to be landed on location. And we are just headed in towards a mid-game, in towards a later game state as well. Again, Jumy, he's fully fortified here with stasis traps. It's fully set up back at home. And Dolan is taking his 4th. Mara did play in KSL once. Mara did play in KSL that one time. That did happen. Did happen. Well, this Phoenix. Oh, they are lifted a little bit idle here. Yeah, 1, 2 Phoenixes going to be going down. Nicely done here by Dolan. Picks off a couple of Phoenixes. Jumy going to be forced back. Back at home, and he's perfectly fine. He's got 3 Colossus. From here, he can go into Disruptor production, into Storm. Dolan is moving out there, getting his 4th base up and running. Cashing out more Phoenixes. Jumy! A little bit of sleep of the week here. A little bit of sleep. 2 Phoenixes go down. The Colossus rallying it. Oh no! The Colossus, get out of here! A couple too many mistakes at once here from Jumy, leaving the Phoenixes idle, rallying the Colossus in. And with that, Dolan, he has momentum in his side, but that is a field of stasis traps. Can he make it through? So far, could be baiting at 1. Marine rushes in. Oh god, he threads the need. No! There we go. Does scan ahead of time. Does catch 2 of those stasis traps. Scans once again. Spots another stasis. From here, he does dive in. Nice EMP. EMP goes off. Army gets zoned away, and the 5th base is going to go down. Jumy is being forced back. Moving in. Again, the Phoenixes are not quite in position to defend. With that, the Colossus are exposed. One Colossus goes down. He's going to get a second. And he should get the third Colossus as well. The Phoenixes, they finally make it back, but is it too late? Oh, target firing not quite there. Dolan being forced back. And Phoenixes are going down. Storm is not ready. And without Storm, Dolan should be able to just dive in. But Lassie doesn't know Storm is going to finish. Uh-oh. Storm is about to finish up. Storm's unavailable. Colossus goes down. And here they come. Oh. Storm goes off. Dolan forced back. There's, what, 2 more Storms left. Oh, he'll take the Storms to the face. Oh, my God. The Storms are brutal. And with that, Jumy holds. Jumy, he does hold on. Yeah, Dolan, he unfortunately didn't know that he was on a timer. He was a little bit too tentative. I do think that if Dolan was a little bit more assertive there, he could have broken through the main army before Storm had completed. But he was playing it safe, playing it secure, and as a result, Jumy holds. Jumy, he holds on and gets a 4th base. Dolan has to race all the way back home. Supply does plummet. And we can keep this going. Jumy getting into Disruptors. Disruptors are on the way. High Templar backing up as well. Gathering their energy. Dolan, he's getting ready for the second wave. This time his army is much weaker though. Much, much weaker. Less Vikings, less Ghosts. Dolan can maybe threaten the 4th base, but forcing a cancel, that I'm less sure about. Even if he lands a good EMP, Jumy should have enough to hold on. That is a good EMP though. Catches almost every High Templar, but one does survive. There is 1 Storm available, and Dolan backs off. He can't quite engage. Dolan not getting his own 5th base. Jumy does scout, he is aware. Dolan transitioning into Mass Lib. And Liberators, they do such a great job at just bullying the ground army, especially in these more enclosed places. Where it's more wide open, it can be more difficult for Liberators to really gain too much value here. But there can be a solid backbone to the army of Dolan. As Libs are moving forward. We have some freedom. We have 7 Liberators. Let's go. Lib range is still on the way. There is 1 Nova in the chamber. 2 Storms. EMP goes off. All the Archons. Not bad. As Liberators, they are slowly pushing forward. Stalkers, they dive in. Storm as well. Takes down 1. Dolan is gaining ground. Slowly. Bit of a misrally here from Dudok. Bit of a misrally from Jumy. Prism goes down. With that, he has no War Prism Micro here with his army, which is concerning. Massive EMP. Massive EMP on the Stalkers. Stalkers, they do crumble. But again, Jumy's doing a great job of just slowing down the push, allowing for extra warp ins. 1 Templar goes down. Starts playing in once again. Liberators, they do siege. Very ambitious Liberators there from Dolan. Nova Zone connect. And this army is running out of splash damage, running out of really everything. Oh, nice splits. And nice splits here by Dolan. Sims in, collapses on the army. Nova once again doesn't quite connect. Good Storm. But it looks like Dolan, he has done it. He does get on top of the army. There's barely anything here. The Mothership is coming in. Does activate Cloak. The Nova. Oh my god. Nova connects. Misclick out of Dolan. Tried to target down the Disruptor. And with that, Jumy, he's holding. No shot. Jumy, he is going to be able to hold on. He was dead in the water, but the Mothership comes in clutch. The Mothership comes out. Dolan forced all the way back home. And once again, Jumy barely survives, and Jumy now is embracing Sky Toss. Tempest Disruptor is on the way. Dolan scanning for bases. Getting a read on whether or not how far behind he is. He's just down 1 base. Getting his own stick. Again, twice now, Dolan has been so close to breaking Jumy, but barely hasn't been able to. In that last game, it was the Nova. Honestly, if that Nova didn't connect, Dolan probably wins, or he probably kills Jumy's army then and there, and maybe the base. And before that, it was the Storms. Dolan came so close. And now Jumy has map control, denying the expansion, going for the gold. Oh, nice feedbacks. EMPs, they do catch the High Templar. No more Storms. Well, worth it here for Dolan. Liberator going to be harassing. Oh. Catching a Disruptor just barely. Catching an Archon as well. Nice Vigos here by Dolan. Another Disruptor's a rally. Oh no! Nova's going to be going up. Ooh, there you get some decent connections. Very chaotic Novas. I like where Dolan running into the army as well. Very chaotic fight. Once again, Dolan should have enough. Collapsing on the army. But alas, a cloak once again is activated. Dolan is forced back. No scan. Flanking Nova. Ooh. Does connect. Jumy once again barely holding on. See, Cloak, it lasts so long. Jesus. Cloak does run out. The Disruptors are loaded back up. And Dolan, is he paying attention? Oh. He is. Pulls away. Does pull away in time. So 3 Novas left. 3 Disruptors behind this. Dolan is maxed out. But if these Novas land, that's EMPs. 2 Novas going up. There's 2 Novas left. Army stimming in. There's a slow zone. Zoning Dolan away. Mothership goes down. Trying to go through those slow zones. It's so vulnerable to the Novas. And 2 Ghosts go down. Massive pickups. Tempest does fall. Another Nova! Oh my god. The connections are brutal. And with that, Jumy, once again, despite being down in supply, he is holding. Oh god. No, the Novas, they just keep connecting. Not like this. With that, taking all the Novas to the face. Ay, ay, ay. And Dolan, does he still have enough though? Up. This time does snipe the Disruptor. Going for the Stalkers, takes down the Immortal. And Jumy, he holds on. He preserves his mineral lines. His bases are left untouched. His economy is solid. That's the 3rd fight now that that Dolan has had enough to break Jumy. All it takes is a couple of Novas or a couple of Storms. And Jumy holds. Carrier's on the way. Viking count down to 0. Dolan now peeling off. I mean, again, Dolan's been focused on these main frontal assaults, and the reality is that they haven't been working out well for him. The reality is that if he had been going for these split pushes, then he could have had a little bit more success trying to pull a Jumy apart. Going for bottom left. Going for at least some of the economy. Does force a recall. Jumy recalls across the map, which means now his army is more vulnerable. Dolan, can he commit in? Here's one Nova. Nova goes off. That was the only one with the main army. Jumy going for his own counterattack. And do we commit into a base trade? There is a planetary to defend. Ghost goes down. Dolan, he moves out. No splash damage. Oh, there's the one Storm. Oh my god, the Storms are brutal. He stands in the Storm. The army is very battered, very bruised. Jumy committing across the map, catching reinforcements. The Vikings will clean up the Colossus. At the same time, the gold base is going to go down. But Dolan, he needs more than this. Takes on the gold. Back at home, we do see that Jumy, he is getting value. Is getting damage. Dolan could have kept going. Only 2 disruptors, but last Dolan, he races back home. The Colossus is getting out of hand. Is cleaned up. And Dolan from here looks like he's going to be rotating towards these southern bases. Jumy out of position. Jeez, that's a lot of disruptors. Now up to 5. 5 disruptors. And how many carriers does he have? Just the one. Okay, okay. Just the one carrier. Does he recall? Do we base trade? Jumy is moving out right through the center. And Jumy, he is just going for the base trade instead. Just going straight for the planetary. Dolan, he should just keep pushing forward, but looks like he is going to turn back around. Spots Jumy. He responds. Oh yeah, Jumy getting into the mineral line. All the SCVs are going to be going down. Brutal losses here for Dolan. Oh my god. Yeah, massive connections. Those are a bunch of Novas that are no longer available, but I believe there's 2 Novas left. Oh! Can they be targeted down? Oh, Novas didn't connect. But this army, it is trapped. The planetary holds. Colossus goes down. And Dolan, he cleans this up, taking down every single disruptor. And Jumy stuck around a little bit too long. Had to get the hell out of there. And despite the insane holds that Jumy's been having throughout this entire game, he is down 60 supply, and Dolan... Oh, actually, I can see a world where these storms pop off and maybe Jumy can hold. The storm goes off. There's another storm available. Oh, nice EMP. And with EMP, no more storms. Collapses on the army. Stims on in. Another Nova available. So he should have enough once again to get himself the goal base. Other Nova. It doesn't connect. Barely not. And the goal base is going to fall for the second time. And GG gets called. Dolan. He finally pops off. He finally breaks Jumy. GG. Whew. GG. Well played. Dolan does take a lead in the series. And again, there were just so many fights that Dolan barely didn't have enough, either waiting too long or taking a brutal Nova to the face multiple times throughout some of those fights. And with that, Jumy was able to barely hold on. But alas, we saw him come into the base trade, and Jumy, he just got surrounded, took a really rough fight towards the end. With that, Dolan did snowball out of control. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Dolan takes game 1. As we said, Lynn, a big shout out to Alarming in the chat. Oh my... That's alarming. That's shout out to Alarming. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you enjoy the cast. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Hope you're having a good time, and welcome to the pond. Welcome, quack, baby, quack. As we're getting into game 2, game 2 is going to be on Frostline. Ooh, here we go. Another large map. Another large map in the map pool. This map is less defendable. Going back to the previous game, we did speak about how greedy our players were. If you missed out on the start of a Neon Violet Square, we had a Dolan going for a 3rd CC after the first racks before anything else. Likewise, we had Jumy going for a 3rd Nexus. I think there was some cat shenanigans going on. We have had some pauses before, some remakes from Dolan, where the cat like jumps onto the desk and jumps onto the keyboard. That's happened before. Oh no. But we had Jumy last game going for the 3rd Nexus after the Cyber Core. So again, just really greedy builds from both players last game, but that was merely only on Neon Violet Square. Should not happen here. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have the German Protoss player. We have the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the orange Terran player from Land of the Americas representing Detonate, leading the series 1-0. It is Dolan. But yes, there have been times where the cat just wants attention or wants the game and play Terran and jumps on Dolan's keyboard. That is... Ah, no. Not like this. Not like this. I'll always remember when Nickract was playing in WTL. Nickract, for those who aren't aware, is another Terran player, was playing in World Team League, and there was that one moment where the cat jumped on the lap and then jumped on the desk in front of Nickract, right in front of the keyboard, and Nickract, he just let it he just played. He didn't even pause. He didn't even pause, didn't even flinch. He's like, this is my life now, once again, and he just played it out. Oh no, not like this. It's clearly happened before. Oh no, the cat working against the Terran. Not like this. As Dolan is going to be going for a Rax expand, going for a Tech Lab. This is a little bit old school. Dolan, he's going for a Marauder opener. Now, the goal here, as I quickly check the vision of Jumy, did Jumy see the Tech Lab? He did not. Okay, so the goal here with a Marauder-based opener with Concussive Shell is not to necessarily be aggressive across the map, but ideally, typically in this matchup, the first Adept or the first Stalker moves out to harass, to try to punish the CC on the low ground, to try and delay the command center and get some economic damage. If the initial gateway unit, like this one, moves out too far, and if it gets caught out by the Marauder, then the Marauder will kill it. With Concussive Shell, with the slow, of course, it will slow it down, we'll catch it, and we'll get more value early on. So Jumy has to be very careful with his first couple of gateway units, as he doesn't know he's running into an Marauder. I almost said Immortal. Basically, Dolan, he's hoping that the Shade finishes. And the Shade, oh, he sees the Marauder. He commits. He does commit anyway, gets into the main. The wall should have been up and running, so a bit of an awkward defense here by Dolan. SCVs may go down. Oh, can he get one? He might be able to, yeah, there we go. He does get one. And he shades away. So a bit of miscontrol there by Dolan. He wasn't able to wall off. He wasn't able to punish the Shade. And with that, Jumy, he holds. Does maintain the Adept. Shading once again in. Pulls the hell away. And behind this, we do see Jumy taking up into... Oh. Hello. That is not Blink. That is a Twilight Council opener into charge. This looks like a 2-base all-in. This looks like a 2-base all-in here by Jumy. You do not rush into charge like this to play macro. That's not how it's done. Like a more macro-based opener is Blink, of course, or I mean even DTs are more of a macro-based opener, to be fair. Going to DT harass, going into Archons. Or Stargate, of course. Charge should be more committed. We should be seeing extra gateways. So very aggressive here by Jumy. Dolan back at home is in the dark, setting up for a Wouldn't Mind follow-up into a 2-1-1. Now, because of the 2-1-1, because of the second racks before the starport, this is a delayed starport. Delayed medevac means a delayed scout. Dolan, he hasn't seen anything in the main. Doesn't know what's going on. Gateways are finishing up. Charge is almost done. And Jumy should be moving out with that War Prism. Now, Jumy is taking extra gases. This tells us that most likely he will take up further from here and expand and get a third base. But still a very aggressive move out here by Jumy, and he moves out. He's going to be pushing. Behind this, likewise, Dolan settling in, investing into Winter Mines. Sim is on the way. Winter Mine drop as well. Winter Mines that won't be at home to defend. And Jumy is going for the main. Behind this, setting up for his expand. Much later expansion here for Jumy. And Dolan, he doesn't have vision. Yeah, no vision of the main. Here comes another warp in. And Zelsa sip to the mineral line. Dolan, he pulls away. Does have an army to defend. Does not have Stim. And Jumy so far trading well. Gets 2 SCVs. Denies any kind of mining here in the main base. And going for the going for the gas geysers. And not bad. Takes them both down. And again, Dolan, he can't quite engage without Stim. He has to wait 10 more seconds. Yeah, 10 more seconds here for Dolan. 5 more even. Meanwhile, across map, Winter Mines, they drop in. Oh my god. Ooh, massive connections. 5 pro kills, not bad. 5 workers go down, and Dolan, he saves every single Winter Mine. Okay, we have a game. We have a game, both players using 5 workers. Dolan did sustain a lot of damage in the main base. Bearing in mind that Dolan is still just not saturated, still just now pulling over towards the main. So very delayed mining here for Dolan. And Jumy's getting his third. Behind this, going to Storm, going to Archons. And Jumy comes back in. Oh, no. Comes back into the main base. Getting 2 more SCVs. Getting 3 more SCVs. Dolan was out of position. He's just racing back home. Losing up to 4 workers. And from here, yeah, Jumy just picks up, pulls away. Ideally, Dolan, he wants to move out with Stim, but Dolan is stuck at home. He's been wanting to push this entire time, but he has been delayed. Storm is now done. Observer gets caught. Zelce busts back in. Getting more damage and delaying the push even further. The main base is on fire. Oh god, oh god. Can he get no shot? Can he get it? He can! The main base! Oh no! The main base goes down. And Dolan's all in. At this point, Dolan, he's completely all in. There's no macroing out of this. He's stuck on a 1 base economy. Again, this move out was supposed to move out across the map like 2 minutes ago. And finally, he is, and Jumy back at home, throwing down a wall of shield batteries, pylons. Storm is done, massing a more High Templar. And the boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing for Dolan, and all Jumy has to do is survive. And he's gonna have plenty of storms. Oh no. How many High Templar does he have? 8? 8 High Templar, at least 8 storms. Most likely more than that. Here comes the first. The first, the second. Oh god. 3, 4, 5 storms, 6 storms going up. GG gets called. There were plenty more storms behind that, and Jumy ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, Jumy just doing critical damage with those charge lots. If you recall, Dolan was going for a 2-on-1 stim timing, but he was stuck at home. He missed his timing, and then it was forced all in. He was forced all in as Jumy did a critical damage, killing the main base, killing the SCVs. And it was all or nothing there for Dolan. And I don't blame him. Dolan getting caught very off guard by the charge-based opener. Very unorthodox there out of Jumy, but works well. Does work well in the end. And with that, we're going to the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on Ultra Love. Let's go. All right, getting into Ultra Love. I see in the chat. I love your laugh. Honestly, puts me in a good mood. Good to hear, Pappy. Good to hear. Gracias, gracias. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match and spawning in the bottom right corner of Ultra Love. Oh my god. May have had another cat fiasco. It's possible. But in the bottom right corner, we have the German Protoss player, the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the American Terran player, the orange Terran representing Detonate. It is Dolan. Here we go. As again, Dolan attempted aggression last game, but he was denied it as Jumy did hit first. And now my eyes are going to be on Jumy, I feel. SCV moves out. Okay, scouting. SCV is going to be checking at the third base location, checking for a proxy gateway, moving out across the map. Based on its timing, we could see a proxy ourselves, or we could just see an eBay block here by Dolan, as the SCV is slipping in. Likewise, Jumy going for his own probe scout. We'll see if Dolan does commit for the eBay, and where he goes from there. Does get behind the mineral line. Interesting. Does slip in. There is room back here for a proxy if he so chose to. But Lash is keeping the SCV idle and getting to his additional Reaper. So Reaper opener, single gas into a faster CC on the low ground. Dolan, he's not going for the eBay block, but he can throw down a bunker. A bunker can be thrown down as the CC has begun. Reaper's going to be moving out. And Dolan, yep, there it is. Bunker is on the way. Now, the goal of the bunker here is to deny mining. It denies any kind of mining here at the natural. The probes are going to be forced to be left into the main, so oversaturation for as long as possible. Now, what I will say is that bunker rushes like this, or the initial bunker starts in this matchup, are very rare nowadays. The reason for this is because this is nerfed. This kind of style has been nerfed in the latest patch. For those that maybe have forgotten the patch notes, now you can disrupt salvage. Right, that's what makes this worth it, is that the bunker finishes, Reaper gets behind the mineral line, denies mining time, and before the Reaper goes down or before the bunker goes down, you salvage just in time to make this more efficient. But now, if the bunker is attacked while it's salvaging, salvage gets cancelled. So you can cancel the salvage. But now the Reaper is zoned away. Second Reaper has arrived. But again, that's why this kind of style has fallen off in this matchup. Getting past the Adept, diving into the natural. Likewise, Jumy getting a proxy across the map, going for a Twilight Council opener. And is Jumy feeling DTs? Are we feeling a proxy Dark Shrine? It is possible. It is an option here for Jumy. Adepts say do bust in. Oh, sorry, Reaper say do bust in. Into the natural. Denying mining time, as we did mention. You can see Jumy heavily oversaturated, and there it is. Twilight Council is done, and he's going for the proxy Dark Shrine. Oh boy, this could be brutal here. We have seen many a high tier, many a top tier Terran player die to DTs early on. Specifically, Bjorn has fallen to this at the hands of Geralt. I'll always remember. Always remember Bjorn versus Geralt on Oceanborn. Dep takes down 2 SCVs. Now, it's gonna come down to how good is Dolan's macro. And hopefully it's not too good. As the bunker is being focused down. Ooh. Reapers, they dive back in, but the bunker should fall. As the bunker does catch fire, and again, there's no salvage. As you see here, the salvage was cancelled. And the bunker will go down. What I'm referring to when it comes to macro, if Dolan mules, if he mules at the wrong moment, if he mules too well, and if he doesn't have any energy for a scan, then he just loses. That's the reality of the situation. That's what happened infamously to Bjorn, where Bjorn, he muled, and the second he muled, DTs waddled in and they just killed him. So again, Dolan has to be very careful, as for now he is banking up energy, and we do have DTs on the way. And he doesn't know. That's the thing. Like, it comes down to chance. As once again, he just muled at the natural. There is soon to be energy for a mule in the main. DTs are waddling in. And it is going to be close. I think the DTs hit before the mule. Yeah, they will hit before the mule. Oh, does he notice? Did he notice? No shot. No shot. The DT waddles into the main base, does hit the natural at the same time. Yeah, there we go. He does notice. He pulls away in time, and he has a scan. Ooh, he does have a scan. Turret's on the way. First scan gets thrown down, catches one DT, but the other is kept safe. And there was only enough energy for one scan. Meanwhile, he's trying to protect that. He's trying to protect the turret. Turret is saved. And Dawn, he will hold on to the natural. More SCVs start going down. 11 SCV kills already. Up. DT doesn't get away. Production is denied. And Dolan is stuck on a one base economy. 11 SCV kills, stuck on one base. And with that, there's another scan. Finally deals with the Dark Templar. Dolan holds, but Dolan, he is far behind. 27 SCVs left against 45 probes and a ninja base. Jumy, you're an animal. Oh my god. Jumy going for the ninja as well. Let's go. Looking to get further ahead. Dolan, what does he have to work with here? He's got stim, he's got combat shields, he's got +1. Remember, the factory was denied, or the factory was heavily delayed. Because it was delayed starport as well, delayed medevacs. Dolan is moving out, and he has to get something done. Dolan does make his way towards the natural. Colossus on the way. Jumy with the we got Jumy with the Maynard. He spots it. Up. He sees. He knows something's wrong. It's like, what? He's like, hold on. What are all these probes doing? What's going on here? Pappy, read it. Go for it. There we go. Does force to cancel. Does force to cancel on the expansion. Thankfully. And Dolan, he denies the ninja base. And Jumy just got a little bit too excited. Did pull the boys a little bit too soon. Or just at the wrong moment. Was a little bit premature there. And with that, Jumy forced to take a more standard third base a little bit later as well. A delayed third base here by Jumy. And Dolan, can he recover? It's still a rough position to be in here, as he's still supply blocked even. Oh, Deepo's on the way. He's looking for the proxy. He barely does miss the Dark Shrine. Again, he's looking, but unfortunately just overshoots, getting caught out instead. Bold move here by Jumy to be active with such a small army, and a Colossus as well. But he's not punished. These Marines are getting picked up. Dolan staying on 2 bases, so the fact that he's going for a Ghost Academy before the 3rd CC most likely means it's going to be a 2-base all-in, and it makes sense, considering the fact that Dolan, he knows he's behind, right? He lost so many SCVs at the start of the game, he was denied and stuck on a 1-base economy as well because he couldn't mine from the main base either. This should be the beginning of just everything. Just pull the boys, go for the all-in. I believe it should be pushing with maybe 2 Ghosts. 2 Ghosts and 2 EMPs going to be available, maybe 3 Ghosts. But macroing from here is going to be almost impossible. But we'll see. We'll see what he goes for. Ghost production has begun. 2 more Raxes. Jumy still being active, which is risky to say the least. Hoping to catch out any drop play. Scan looking for an Observer. Oh, does get one. Observer did go down. And we have 2 Ghosts, soon to be 4 Ghosts. Okay. Going to be 4 Ghosts alongside this. And here comes the move out. Now, I would have assumed that Dolan would have pulled the boys with this, but Dolan, he's getting an armory. He's getting into +2. That I was not expecting. So I would still say he's very committed. Borderline all in, but he is taking a different approach. Going for a drop. Does finally find the proxy. Let's go. Dark Shrine is going to go down. Two medics are on the way. Dolan looking to boost into the main. Jumy does spot it with the spotted pylon. Does spot the medivacs. Dolan moving out, scanning ahead of time, looking for the 3rd base. And Dolan does have a comparable army. He has begun +2. Does have a lot of potential. The Colossus are chilling here at the 3rd. Likewise, Disruptors here at the natural. Scan reveals the Disruptor. He knows. At the same time, Zealots into the main. I mean, if he wasn't all in before, he is now. I mean, he always has been, really. Nice EMP. EMP goes off. Gets the Archon. Nova zones away. Ooh, collapses here on the Widow Mines. Real Mines go down. The value is real. Dolan, he will bring down the expansion. He tries to. Does get the Nexus. Was it worth it? Losing far too much bio. Dolan has to pick up, has to get the hell out of here. At the same time, Zealots is still wreaking havoc in the main. SCVs, they're still going down. This was never dealt with. Ay, ay, ay. Lifting up the main, lifting up the production. And Jumy going for a massive counterattack. Punishing Dolan. And Dolan just doesn't have enough. We'll deal with at least the War Prism. Prism goes down. But Jumy can keep pushing. He can just keep pushing in. There's how much to defend. There's 4 Ghosts, a couple of Marauders, 14 Marines. Bugger's gonna go down. There's no tanks. Oh, nice EP on the Colossus. But that's 3 Colossi. Ay, ay, ay. And Jumy double expanding. Getting a 3rd and a 4th at the same time. Nova zones away. Ooh, massive connection. The Ghosts go down. The boys are being pulled into Colossus. Not like this. GG gets called, and Jumy will take the series at 2-1, advancing on to a qualifying match. GG. GG, well played. Shout out to Dolan, of course, for competing and making an ace match out of this for popping off in game 1 in a longer macro game, but in game 2 and game 3 we had some much more chaotic game states here early on. Game 1, Jumy being hyper aggressive with the initial charge outs. Here in game 2 as well, popping off with those Dark Templar. Didn't necessarily kill Dolan with the DTs, but did cripple him and did force an all-in out of him as well. When it came to Dolan's move out, there was potential with it, but again, he didn't pull the boys, so he wasn't as committed. He was trying to tech up, trying to work towards a longer game state with the armory, with +2, but alas, he had nothing at home to defend, and he was torn apart. GG. GG well played. Jumy does take it, and with that, Jumy does advance on into the next round, into the qualifying match. Here we go, and up next we have a best of 5 between Elazer and Jumy. Let's go. We have that best of 5 qualifying match. It is going to be a ZVP. And again, Jumy, what I appreciate from him, as we kind of saw in this series as well, is how aggressive and how unorthodox he is. Very rarely, I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen Jumy play standard. If you recall, we casted Jumy in a best of 5 show match at the start of the year. We had like a New Year's show match between Jumy and Iba, which was a lot of fun. It was a best of 9. I know it started with a best of 5. It did start as a best of 5. They turned it into a best of 9. If you're curious, watch the games. It was it was very chaotic, but almost every game we saw something more strange, more different, more weird out of Jumy, and hey, it worked. It did work against Iba. We'll see what he does here against Elazer. Elazer, on the flip side, is known for his greed. He's known for cutting corners. Elazer, he's known for playing a standard game, losing 20 drones in the lead up to the mid game, and still just overwhelming you anyway. He likes losing workers. It's great. Like Elazer, he's like an enigma where he will lose like 20 workers but still be ahead in drones and still just out macro you and outpace you. It's crazy. The reason for this is because even though, yes, Elazer loses a lot of workers, he's doing nothing but droning, and he skips lings and he skips roaches and he skips unit production, so he can afford those losses in a way, and he can still like keep up and still maintain himself. It's crazy. It's insane. But we'll see how that turns out here in this next series, as game 1 is going to be on Neon Violet Square. Oh boy. Here we go. So we're getting into our fresh series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neon Violet Square, we have the German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Polish Zerg player, the Orange Zerg, representing Team Liquid. It is Elazer. Here we go. And again, Elazer, he is known for greed, known for cutting corners, known for droning and doing nothing but droning. But it's been a while since we've actually seen Elazer be too competitive. For those that are curious, Elazer in the off-season did take some time off. Elazer, he was focusing a lot on Stormgate, playing a lot less StarCraft 2. I want to say that Elazer's return, he took like a couple of months off. His return to competitive form was Home Story Cup 26 at the start of December. So that was like the return of Elazer. We got to see him once again. And since Home Story Cup, he has been more active once again. He has been more competitive, playing in more online tournaments. It's been great to see the return of Elazer, and we'll see how he compares to Jumy. Let's go. Let's go. So now Elazer just going for his initial extractor trick to hatch gas pool. Is going to be settling in. And again, typically here on Neon Violet Square, it's a game agreed. It's a game agreed. It's a game of rushing into a third base, rushing into a fourth base, joining up heavily, cutting lings, cutting roaches. I feel like this is the ideal map for Elazer with his playstyle, with the corners he likes to cut. Likewise, on the side of Jumy, now I'm a little bit more concerned. Typically, Jumy thrives in the mid game. He thrives with more aggressive builds and aggressive styles, with faster charge into a depths, into maybe double Stargate play, into a Phoenix, into Mass Phoenix, or like a Fleet Beacon rush as well. Speaking of, that is viable here. We could see something like double Stargate into a fast Fleet Beacon. That is possible here for Jumy. We'll keep an eye on it. As Jumy is setting up. Just going for the gate expand. I like Jumy's name. I mean, it's his name, right? Like, I think his full name is like Julian, and his last name starts with M. So I think it's like an amalgamation of his name. Hold on. Yeah. His name is Julian Mills. That's it, Julian Mills. So Jumy for short. Let's go. Look, it could be worse. It could be Eric, which is just his name. But here we go. This is what we expect. Elazer, he's going for a hatch gas pull into a fast third base, into the gold base as well. Cutting all the corners, rushing into the gold. This is the Elazer that we know and love. And we'll see if Jumy can punish the gold base. Oh boy. We'll see if he can. Two Lings, they slip into the main. And they do get, one probe. They get one worker in the main base, not bad. One worker for two Lings. Meanwhile, Jumy, as we mentioned, it's a game of greed. He goes gate expanded to Cybercore into a third Nexus before the tech, before the Stargate. This is the greediest build you can go for. So Jumy is being greedy, that is true, but Elazer, he's kind of trumping that greed. He's beating him there with the gold base instead. So despite this start from Jumy, I do favor Elazer's position if he can get this base up and running uncontested. Oh, as Lings, they step in. There's no wall. There's no wall here. It was wide open. Lings, they do get into the middle line. Probe's going to be going down, and this is getting out of hand already. Jumy doing his best hero impression. Leaves the door open. Lings, they get into the natural, into the third. Going for the surround. They catch the Stalker. The Stalker is going to go down. And Jumy is in trouble. Lings, can they get another probe? Oh. After the main, one more probe goes down. That's 4 probe kills. Lings rotating back over. Getting another probe as well. That's 5. 5 probes going down. Behind this, no tech, no Roach Horn, no Banelands, going straight for the lair. Now, based on this, and going for another expansion. Jesus. Going for the 4th base. I mean, he's got the money for it. He has the minerals for it. May as well. Meanwhile, Jumy, he responds with double Stargate. I would imagine Mass Phoenix. And I'm not opposed to Mass Phoenix here. The problem is, though, that Jumy, he was slowed down quite a bit. He was disrupted when it comes to his build. There we go. Now he does wall off with the pylon. As it was a bit of an awkward setup. Oh. Hello. That is not Mass Phoenix. That is double Stargate into a Fleet Beacon. It's a +1 air attack. I mean, we spoke earlier, a build that is viable and that we see a lot on this map is either a Tempest Rush or a Carrier Rush. Have my attention. So on the one hand, yes, Elazer's being greedy. Elazer, he has the gold base and he's going to have a greater economy. That is true, but Jumy will have the better army momentarily. We'll see if we can get there. There is no shield right behind this. Lings, they collapse in. At the same time, we do have adepts across the map, getting 3 drone kills so far. Not bad. 3 workers go down. Getting able to 4, getting 5, getting 6. Getting 7, no reaction out of Elazer. And again, as we mentioned at the start of the series, almost jokingly, but there's a serious undertone to it, Elazer, he likes losing drones. Like, no reaction, 12 drone kills, 13 workers go down. And again, it's not an Elazer game unless he loses 20 workers. So he's actually doing well. Only 13 dead workers. Should have been 20. Should have been. The thing is, look at the drone count. Elazer, he has 70 workers. He has 70 workers plus the gold base. So again, it's one of those things where Elazer, he can afford these losses. Meanwhile, carriers are on the way, making 3 carriers at a time. And again, Elazer losing 13. You know, he's looking good compared to a standard Elazer game. It's crazy. It's crazy. As Hydras are amassing. Have a Hydra speed on the way. Now, what's important here, unless I'm mistaken, yeah, Elazer, he has not scattered. He is not scattered. He does not know what's going on. Now, as we mentioned at the start of the game, Elazer should be aware of that as well. We spoke about the initial, like, Skytoss rush. I was saying Tempest rush. This is Carrier rush instead. But that should be in the back of Elazer's mind. If it's in the back of our mind, it's in the back of Elazer's mind as well. And he is amassing Hydra, so he has anti-air at least. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing, essentially. Better than, like, Ling Roach Ravager, for example. So he is amassing Hydras as we speak. If Jumy moves out early on, he will be punished, and here comes the Overseer, here comes the full scout. Elazer, he confirms the mass carrier. Does confirm. 3 carriers moving out. Jumy has to be very careful with his move out, as he doesn't want to get caught out by these Hydras. Hydras, they are spotted. Jumy, he is well aware ahead of time. He pulls away. Thankfully. Jumy, he's like, oh, you know what? I don't want to be active right now. Not with all these Hydras. He backs off. He's setting up a wall of cannons, wall of shield batteries. This is also why this map is often vetoed, because you can freely get a 3-base economy and turtle up and rush into Sky Toss. Which is why I was a little bit shocked to see that Elazer did embrace this map. But here we go. The Jumy does engage. Cybercore barely saved. Elazer kiting with the interceptors. Takes down the Cybercore. Denies +2. But was it worth it? He denied +2 for 13 Hydras. Hey, 13 drones, 13 Hydras. We'd love to see it, but 13 Hydras to go down. Jumy does hold, and Jumy has to rebuild that Cybercore, get back into +2. Tempest now on the way. Jumy getting a 4th. And again, Jumy, he can slowly get a 4th base, get a 5th base. Jumy is slowly gaining map control. Elazer backing off. Now, thankfully, Elazer throws down the Spire. He does throw down the Spire into Infestation Bit, into Hive Tech. Now, this Hive Tech is late. It is delayed considering the journey that we've had. So I'm a little bit concerned for Elazer, as Jumy moves out and he's going for bottom left. Oh, the carrier! As one carrier is going to get caught out. A bit of an A move there from Jumy. Can he get away? He can. The terrain here does work in his favor, does get over the wall, and the Hydras do miss the carrier. Meanwhile, base is going down. Carrier, can he get away? Up! Oh my god. The carrier should barely not. There we go. The carrier goes down. But Elazer will lose on the entire base and 12 workers. And Jumy's not done. But the Corruptor Cannon is too high. You have to recall. Yeah, it does recall the hell out of here. And it will save his army. Does recall back home. Now, against a Corruptor-based composition like this, you do want some support for your Sky Toss. What is that support going to entail? Archons. Archons and Storm. We have some Void Rays on the way to make use of the production, which is less than ideal, but it's, again, better than nothing. Void Rays are building up. Storm is on the way, but Storm isn't ready yet, so we need some kind of stopgap before Storm is done. That's where the Void Rays come into play. Nice Cloak. Cloak is activated, no detection. Yeah, no Overseer here for Elazer. He gets denied. 3 Overseers now morphing in. Jumy holds. Jumy does hold, throwing down a wall of cannons. Nice contamination here on the Void Ray. Void Rays are delayed. I'm a little bit concerned with the Lackeye Templar, but Jumy, he's kind of broke. Doesn't really have a lot of money. Is still building up. Likewise, Elazer rebuilding his expansions. Getting a 6th. Double Spire, double upgrades. Hive is on the way, +2 as well. As Elazer's massing up those Corruptors. Here we go. Elazer pushing in. Going for the main. And he should be able to shut down the base. And Nexus is going to fall. Jumy out of position. And Elazer after killing the base has to get the hell out of here. Does want to fight these Void Rays. Will back up. Elazer pulls away. Nicely done. And again, it's on Jumy to split up his army. To successfully split up his army. Keep up with the Corruptors. Keep up with the ground army as well. With the Hydras. As Elazer is looking for any kind of stray units. Looking for any stray carriers, any stray Tempests. Rotating back around, back towards the main. I see an exposed Cybercore. We'll see what he goes for. Stacking up his army. Behind this, the Hive is done. Viper production has begun. Seven shot goes up. Gets a carrier. One carrier goes down. Elazer pulling away. Now morphing in his Hydras into Lurkers. Again, Hydras at this point are dead weight. Like Hydras, they do very poorly against this kind of army. But Lurkers, they do a great job at supporting the air army here of Elazer. So the time of Hydras have come and gone. It's all going to be about a Corruptor, Viper, Infestor, Lurker. So we're still building up those upgrades. Vipers have arrived. This is also why Void Rays are less than ideal in this position. Void Rays, they are so prone to stacking. So a couple of Power Bombs and Void Rays, they get shut down. Oh, go for the yoinks. Gets 3. The Void Rays do fall. Oh. Looking for another abduction. Oh, feedback goes off. Nicely done here by Jumy. Does preserve the army. At the same time, Lurkers pushing on the left-hand side. Jumy getting pulled apart a little bit here. Lurkers that get behind the mineral line. Corruptors are hunting. Running straight pickoff. Getting another carrier. Another carrier goes down. Respects the slow zone. Pulls away. And basically this is what Elazer needs to do here in this position, is these hit and run tactics. Dip in and get 1 unit here and there, back off. Regenerate energy here on these Vipers. Go back in, get 1 or 2 units. Just slowly pick away at the army as efficiently as possible while building up upgrades and building up a bank. As a laser supply blocks. Ooh, that should... a laser. A laser pulling in a laser. 6 overlords on the way. Ay, ay, ay. As a laser, he cannot max out. Nice abductions. He gets 1, he gets 2. Gets 2 carriers and a Tempest. Oh, we'll trade out a Viper, though. Oh, never mind. Vipers did barely survive. Just barely. Viper pulls away. Laser threatening another dive. Once again, splitting up his army. The Lurkers, they get spotted. Nice moves here by Jumy. Lurkers, they distract. Corruptors, they come in. But Elazer, he doesn't find an opening. Catches an Oracle. Now, the difficult thing for Jumy, he's on a 5-base economy, which is very secure. The 6th base is exposed, whether it's this gold base here or this southern expansion towards the south, towards the left-hand side. The 6th base is more vulnerable. So expanding from here for Jumy is going to be difficult. Nice feedbacks. Feedbacks, they pop up. Lurkers, they get behind the mineral line onto the high ground. Jumy's distracted. Probes are going down. Jumy trying to chase. Does Jumy commit? Okay. He's committing. Lurker's out of position. He's going for it. Clearing up creep. Tempest, they defend back at home. I mean, the Skyjust army. Back at home, what is it to defend? We need more Lurkers. Lurkers are morphing in. As the first wave of Lurkers, they get called out. Nice catch here by Jumy. Did cost him 16 probes, but did collapse and did take down all the Lurkers. As we're about to have 11. Zealot run by here behind the army. Into the mineral line. Going for the Spires. Spires are exposed. Jumy pushing in. Laser not quite ready for this. The Spores are still morphing in. Spore Crow is going to be going down. Nice abductions. He gets 1, he gets 2 carriers. But the base falls in an instant. 18 drone kills. And so does the Spire. +3 was denied. This expansion going to be going down as well. Elazer fighting without his spores. Not going to be easy. Oh, gets another carrier. Okay, Cloak a little bit too late. Oh, he wants the feedbacks. Oh my god. Gets a Viper. Does feedback, takes down a Viper. 34 drone kills. And Elazer, he hasn't been expanding. Elazer, he didn't take these northern bases. Look at the bank here. Elazer, he has 2k in the bank, but has not been taking bases. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Elazer either tunnel visioning a little bit too much or just maybe overconfident. But Elazer, he should have this entire half of the map. Now he's expanding, but these bases are late. And as a result, Elazer has limited larva. Limited economy. Jumy going for the gold. Remember, we spoke about it. The 6th base of Jumy is difficult to take. And Jumy turns back around. Elazer going for a link counterattack. Elazer, he just burned through that bank. As we mentioned, like Elazer, he without a bank and without an economy like this, like Elazer, he's in trouble. Ooh, that's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. Elazer re-establishing his mineral bank. He's got how many? 39 corruptors. Jesus, that's a that's a lot of corruptors. How many lurkers does he have? 10. Ooh, I'm a little bit concerned when it comes to the army composition of Elazer, considering how heavy we have, just how heavy the Archon army is. Like, these corruptors, they can't engage. And because of the Archon count, the lurker's going to be exposed as well. 3 lurkers, they go down. At the same time, Elazer going for the gold, once again knocking down the 6th expansion. Double expanding himself. That's a kill, not a cancel. Nexus goes down. 11 probes as well. Oh, gets a carrier. Carrier does fall. Elazer desperately making more lurkers, as he does need them. And I do think that he has too many corruptors, I'll be honest. I wouldn't be opposed to this if maybe he had a greater spire to morph in some broodlords, but there is no greater spire. So broodlords are not available here. What I mean by that, after this fight, if there's nothing left in the air, then the corruptors hit the dead supply. Assuming he even wins the battle in the air. True. Powerbomb goes off. Nice split by Jumy. Does split off. Leaving my mind in the way. Here's Jumy forced to recall. He has to make a choice. Jumy, he's forced to recall. Army dives in. Oh, does not get the mothership. This is the difficult thing in these kind of late game situations. Jumy, because he's maxed out, he cannot reactively warp in to defend. Like, he warped in 2 Zelts because that's all he could warp in. So he had to recall. As once again, Elazer going for the 6th base. Once again, just making sure that Jumy does not expand. That's the win condition for Elazer. Just starve Jumy out. Denying the 6th base for what, like a 4th time at this point. Just double checking, yeah, only 1 spire and no greater spire. Oh boy. Meanwhile, lurkers, they go for a counterattack, they go for the 5th base. Jumy, he's being forced all in. Remember, he just recalled earlier. Recalls on cooldown. He has to commit, he cannot turn around. 2 Void Rays get caught, mothership as well. Nice pickups by Elazer. How many Vipers? 1 Viper. Oh, going for the Powerbomb. Powerbomb does land. Jumy, he has to split. Up, up. Oh, good, there we go. Does split away. Void Rays, they took a lot of damage. We spoke about it earlier, but the Powerbombs, they just punish Void Rays so hard. But what I'm most concerned by is, again, if all these Void Rays die, if all the Tempests die, what is the answer to the Archons? What is the answer to the ground toss? The lurkers, they're trying to get in position. They're going to be zoned away by the storms. The Archons, they're pushing in. And bases are falling. Likewise, back across the map. Jumy also losing expansions. Is the recall now available? Soon. Soon TM. The tech is getting picked up. The Hydra Den, the Spire, the Lurker Den as well. Lurkers are trying to engage. Getting closer. But again, Elazer, he has been outpositioned. Lurkers are not ready. And Jumy, he busts into the main, going for the Hive. Hive goes down. Jumy saves the expansion with DT defense back at home. And Elazer is down to not even a mining base. There's nothing mining. There's nothing at the 4th. He has the pocket expansion. That's all he really has, at least when it comes to income. Down to 13 drones. Oh, Jumy cannot push down this ramp. Be careful, Jumy. He's crazy. Don't push down the ramp. Ling run by, getting a couple of probes. But again, Jumy should be able to recall, as he will soon have one available. Yeah. Now we can recall. Oh. Powerbomb going up. Jumy, I feel like we gotta get out of here. He just tanks the power bomb to the face. The Void Rays alone, mass storms on the army. And Jumy shuts down the lurkers. He will take the fight. 2-3 lurkers left. We spoke about this, like the ground army was lacking. So he did at this point didn't have to recall, to be honest, but GG gets called as Elazer has nothing left, and Jumy takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Jumy does take a lead in the series. Whew. Oh my god. And again, Elazer, it did seem like maybe some overconfidence or maybe some tunnel visioning out of Elazer. We spoke about it at the time, but for a long time there, Elazer, he had map control, but even though he had like a 3k mineral bank, he wasn't expanding. And he should have been expanding. So whenever Jumy moved out to knock down a base, he would have another base to just transfer over to. We saw that the northern bases were either non-existent or heavily delayed for Elazer. Again, he was just a little bit too fixated on harassing, on trying to pick off some key units with the corruptors. As a result, he got caught out. Likewise, his army was also lacking. He never quite invested into a greater spire. He had 39 corruptors. 39 corruptors. In the end, he didn't even win the fight in the air, but even if he did, we saw how devastating the ground army was. The lurkers, they melted in that final fight. There were 3 lurkers remaining, and again, Jumy didn't even have to recall. Could have just committed to that engagement as well. Just shut everything down. With that, GG. GG, well played. Whew. Jumy takes a lead, and now we're getting to game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. Don't know why Elazer didn't expand or add side defense. Elazer's side defense was delayed and expansions were delayed as well. As we were alluding to, as we were saying, I'm pretty sure it was just because of some overconfidence. If you recall, for most of the game, Elazer did have map control and he was containing Jumy. So he most likely just assumed he could keep that contain going and keep Jumy pinned. Clearly that did not occur, as Jumy did eventually break out, and once he did, he snowballed out of control. But yeah, alas, Elazer, he was not quite ready for that situation, for that scenario. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the German Protoss player, the green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy, leading the series 1-0. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Polish Zerg player, the Orange Zerg, representing Team Liquid down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is Elazer. Here we go. So I'm going to be selling in. Oh, we have a clown in the chat. Drew balls. If you're gonna cry about things, go cry somewhere else. The game is dead. Cohopian. As Jumy goes for the gate expand. Gate expand here at a Jumy. Settling in. Likewise, Elazer going for his own hatch gas pool as well. Now, when it comes to the map itself, something that we should point out, the way that Neo-Violet Square played out is very unique to Neo-Violet Square. It is a very large map, very open, very defensive as well. We did mention how you can set up on 5 bases very easily on Neo-Violet Square, and because of the long rest distance by ground, then you can kind of be greedy and cut corners. You can be as greedy as possible and cut as many corners as you can. Here on Ultra Love, it is a different story. Smaller map, shorter rushes by ground. It means that aggression is more viable here on Ultra Love. At the same time, though, it's also very defendable. Coming into Ultra Love, the 3rd base, the 4th base, the 5th base as well, there's a lot of choke points, there's a lot of points of elevation, there's a lot of just really narrow areas like these bridges as well. You can slow the game down. We have seen, if you can get up to like a 4-base economy, you can cut the map in half and just force a very late game situation. We've seen that quite a bit on Ultra Love. We could see that again. We'll see though. As we mentioned before, like, all-ins are not uncommon on this map because of the rushes. So I did emphasize that if you can get a 4th base up and running, then you can cut the map in half. If not, the game could end far earlier than that. We'll see. The problem is that I don't really think that Elazer is really an aggressive player. Like, Elazer, he's known for greed, he's known for his economy, he's known for macro, he's not really known for all-ins. So I don't really know if Elazer's one to go for like a German taxi or, you know, a Queen walk across the map, a Bane bus, if you will. He's not really that kind of player. Not saying he's never done that, but it's just not really his style. But now, Twilight Council opener into a Stargate. hold up. Hold up. Something weird's happening. Wait. Twilight Council to Stargate into Robo cancels a Stargate. What is into Dark? Okay. Jumy, he's doing flips right now. He's cooking. Let him cook. Okay, Elazer didn't scout. He did not scout the Twilight Council. He saw the Stargate and then bam, cancels the Stargate. Let's go. Okay, so Jumy making it look like a standard opener. He's making it seem like standard play. Checking the vision here. Elazer, did he see? He did not see the tech. He barely is out of range. Doesn't quite see anything here in the natural. Ay. And this looks like a 2-base all-in. I say that. This is going to be a DT opener into an Archon drop. I'm curious if Jumy commits even harder with this or just expands. We'll see. We shall see. As the Prism is on the way, the Dark Shrine as well for those Dark Templar. Back at home, Elazer going for a safety Roach Warren. That is around a 4-minute, sub 4-minute Roach Warren here for Elazer. And Elazer is massing Lings. He's aware that something is wrong. Spores would be third. Elazer coming in for a denial. No spores. No spores for Elazer. Bear that in mind. Uh-oh. Yo, Shadow Stride on the way. Let's go. Going into Blink DTs. Lings, they deny the third base. Still no spores. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's no spores whatsoever. DTs are on the way. There we go. Now he throws down spores reactively. Thankfully, he did spot the warp in, but damage can be done. We have backup spores on the way as well. And we see Elazer trying to body block. He's trying to hold on. He will save the spore. Yeah, just in time. Does body block, does hold position. And the spore will finish. Whew. That was very close. Oh no! Oh my god. No, the prism goes down! The prism goes down! The DTs as well! Oh my god. Is that game? GG. As Jumy, he warps in another wave, true. More DTs on the way, but that is a rough start. Ay. Jumy got too excited. I mean, shout out to Elazer for saving the spore when he did. Big shout out to Elazer, despite not knowing what was going on. And Jumy, again, he got overly excited here. Lings, they shut down the wall. DTs are moving out. And everything's on fire. The boys have arrived. Okay, they have to get the hell out of here. Get out of here, Pappy. DTs to defend. More Dark Templar on the way. And the Lings are busting through. At the same time, DTs, they hit the third. Drones are going down. Chaos everywhere. The wall is being broken. Probes are falling, but the DTs, they will clean this up. Hey, not bad. The Dark Templar defense. Despite that, though, 12 probes. Oof, 12 workers, 13 workers going down. Kills the expansion. Okay. Hey, we're still in this. The expansion goes down. Elazer is stuck on 2 bases. DTs, they bust into the main. No shot. Do they get into the spore? Oh, they somewhat do. It's going to be close. Spore goes down. Spore goes down. DTs, they keep going. They keep getting value. No detection. They blink away. Remember, they have blink, of course. They recall the hell out of here. Oh, no. We're getting scrappy. We're getting down and dirty here. Who's ahead? Okay, so first things first. Jumy's down in probes. Jumy, he's down in workers. That is true. He has a massive amount of DTs. He has blink, of course, and as well. Thankfully, there is mobile detection in the Overseer. It is slow, but detection nonetheless. Speed is on the way. I appreciate that. If it was only spores, these DTs, they can dive on an army. They can dive on a spore. And they are looking to dive on the expansion. Oh, but now just going for a run by. They are going to be deflected. DT's zoned away. Jumy's still building up, fortifying himself on 2 bases. It's one of those things where, true, Elazer, he's up in drones, but he's not mining efficiently, right? He's long distance mining, so the drone count may as well be even. But Elazer, he is reestablishing that third. Oh. Now, with high ground vision, technically these DTs, they can blink into the main. He's going for it. He's going for the blink. Does set up. Distracting the army. DTs, they get spotted. And Elazer not quite in position. Blinks away. Doesn't blink in. There was potential. But with the speed Overseer, Dark Templar, they get caught out. Still slipping by. DT's a hit. The natural spore goes down. Elazer out of position. Yeah, he gets caught out. It's being torn apart. Queen falling as well. And DT's a escape. And they come back in. No! It's like whack-a-mole. Oh no. But the mole is killing you. He comes back in. Gets 9 more drones. Pulls away. Blinks away even. Let's go. Behind this, sorry, Jumy he has yet to expand. He's building up, getting to charge, getting to immortal production as well. Yeah, as Elazer's trying to keep up. Blink is still available. Going back into the mineral line, getting more drone kills, at least trying to. There's a recall. Oh! Does recall in time. Drop a load into the main. Just one Ling. Let's go. The one Ling drop. Ling goes down. Ah, no. Jumy getting caught out. Remember, recall's on cooldown. And Blink isn't done. Jumy can try to snipe the Overseer. Trading with the Lings. This is going to be expensive loss here for Jumy. As he tries to get away. Oh, no. Doesn't quite pull it off. One Stalker escapes. +1 air attack? What? Why are we getting +1 air attack? What's happening? +1 air attack is on the way. Let's go. Oh, no. And here comes Jumy. That +1 is going to come in clutch. Like it's not like he's faking out Sky Toss, because Elazer sees the army. Like, there we go. There's a cancel. Does cancel +1. Files a... Ooh. Razor Zealot. No big connections. Jumy moving out. Bearing in mind that the supply does light. Elazer, he has inflated supply, but that's a lot of roaches going for a counterattack. Going for a surround. Yeah, trying to collapse on the army. Coming in from behind. Now Jumy, he can fight each army at a time, 100%. He can collapse on this, but if both at once, that's a different story. As Elazer, he comes in from behind. Gets on some of the immortals. Do we have any force fields? Does turn around. Roaches are getting focused down. Nice movement here by Jumy. Does pull away, avoids a surround. Ooh. But files aren't connecting. Does Jumy have enough? He might barely have enough here. Immortal taking a lot of hits. Nice control. Again, the Immortals, they trade so efficiently against these roaches. The roaches, they melt. And Jumy, he's overwhelming. The boys are being pulled. Elazer is in trouble. Once again, roaches, they're coming from behind. Ooh. Getting in some of the Immortals. There's 4 Immortals left. The kiting is solid. Up. The vials, they don't quite connect. Nice save. The juggling is real. Jumy, can he do it? It's close. Oh no, the surround. Yeah, one Immortal does not go down. But there's no support. Yeah, there's no more support. Elazer holds. He holds on. He shuts down the army. He cleans everything up just barely. And Jumy was all in. Jumy, he was completely... That's all he had. That's all he had left. Down to 2 Immortals. Back at home, there's 2 units. 2 Stalkers warping in. Contamination here on the Robo. Let's go. The DTs continue. Oh no. Not again. Dark Templar. I mean, hey, Jumy, he denies the 4th base. Denies mining at the 3rd. He is getting damage, that is true, but he doesn't have an army. That's the problem here. There is no army for Jumy. He's down to a handful of units. And Protoss units, they're good, but they're not that good. They might be more efficient. There's more potential for damage with them, but there's only so much they can do on their own. As Elazer is re-expanding, he's able to maintain a greater economy. Jumy, he's running out of resources. Oversaturated. And Elazer, he even spreads creep to deny the bases, to make sure Jumy does not expand. That's a lot of DTs though, jeez. Oh no. Jumy, you're an animal. Is there a chance? Well, I mean, Elazer, he split up his army and he has detection, right? He has an Overseer. If he didn't, if he was distracted by these Immortals, then maybe. Here we go. Here comes Jumy. He's ready for the dive. Alas runs into the roaches, blinks away. Elazer, he was ready for it. And again, if Elazer wasn't in position, then maybe he loses the base, maybe he loses the mineral line. But this entire time, Jumy, he's been building back up. No shot. No, okay, here come the Archons. Mate, that's 5 Archons. 5 Archons, 4 Immortals. Sorry, 3 Immortals. No, yeah, 4. Oh, no. Oh my god, the Immortals are exposed. Risky maneuver. Jumy, he can still pull this off. The supplies are close. Yeah, the army supplies are close. Does side forward. Force fields the army. He looks it down. Yeah, roaches are falling. Roaches are falling. The mutas, they try to engage, but again, there's 5 Archons. Down to 3. Bold moves going to mutas. Roaches, they are going down. Ravagers, they try to engage. Is there enough anti-air? The mutas, they shut down the prison. No more war prison. There's 3 mutas left. And it looks like Elazer, he holds on. He pulls the boys. He's holding. Just barely. That was actually close, though. Does hold on, lose a couple of workers, and there we go. He will clean this up. The final Immortal's going to go down, and GG gets called. Elazer, he ties up the series 1-1. How's not an easy game, though. GG. He does tie things up. We have a back and forth. Let's go. GG, well played. That was a crazy game, by the way. Remember, it started with a fake Stargate. It was Twilight Council into Stargate, into a cancel, into Mass DT, where, if you remember, even at the start of the game, Jumy, he lost the War Prism. He lost the War Prism with, what was it, 3 or 4 Dark Templar in the War Prism as well. It was a disastrous start out of Jumy. And then he clawed his way back in. He made a game out of it as well. Very impressive there, as Jumy did fight back. In the end, Elazer was able to stabilize somewhat and able to hold his own, but very chaotic game. Very chaotic. GG, well played. We have a series. Let's go. One Ling, this game is hilarious. I mean, mate, the Ling was popping off. Oh no. Jumy with the troll and A style, mate. Jumy with the EU style, papi. He's like harnessing his inner good. His inner Blythe. That's it. For some reason, I thought Blythe. I was thinking Biel. I was like, no, the other one. Let's go. It's one of those things where in Europe there's a lot of like really stock standard players, but because there's so many of them, it means that all the cheese and all the chaos gets concentrated like into a couple of key players. And it's like it like spikes up within them. One of them's Jumy, the other's like Strange, the other's like Milky Cow. Like there's a couple of like key European players that like suck up all the cheese, and it's like concentrated within them. It's crazy. Let's go. We love it. Do love it. As we're getting into game 3. They don't leave it for anyone else. As spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the German Protoss player, the green Protoss representing Streamer Zone, being forced into a tied series. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Jumy. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Polish Zerg player, the orange Zerg representing Team Liquid, tying up the series 1-1. It was a crazy game. Did bring it back. It is Elazer. Here we go. Whew. Okay, we can breathe. We can calm down. Hi. As Elazer, he is going to be expanding, just going hatch gas pool, standard opening out of Elazer. Again, it's been pretty standard play out of Elazer every single game so far. It's been mainly Jumy being crazy, which is what we expected out of this series. Like Jumy, he is more unorthodox. He's a little bit more out of the norm when it comes to his play. We'll see what he goes for. In game 1, he went for a carrier rush, if you recall. Game 2 went for the kind of the tech switch into mass DT with Blink, with Shadow Stride. Meanwhile, Cannon Rush? He's going for he's Cannon Rush. Let's go, Forge. He's going for the Forge. He's going for the Cannon Rush. But Elazer, he sees he has an Overlord in position, and he does get eyes on the probe. Elazer, he's prepared, and Jumy is going to be forced to go. Yeah, he's going to be forced to cancel. Ay. Yeah, rough start here for Jumy. A delayed cybercore into delayed expansion. So Jumy trying to be cheeky, and if the Overlord didn't see the probe, then maybe, but alas, Elazer, he was all over this. And Jumy forced a transition. So again, this is a rough start for Jumy. It is an inefficient start, I should say. Not saying that he's out of this, but it does mean that this is working against him, and he has to make up for that. Does have to make up for it. As Elazer is just settling in, joining up, and calming down. What's the next shot? DTs equals drone. Carrier equals drone. Well, the problem is that it also kills him. Like, but that's Elazer for you. Again, like, as we mentioned in the previous game, and I do want to emphasize that as well, Elazer, he isn't really too much of an aggressive player. He's not like Shin, right? He's like Shin. He's not like Dark. He's not like Raynor, you know, where they are willing to go all in. They're willing to, if they see you being greedy, if they see you cutting corners, they're willing to cut workers themselves, throw down early tech, and commit into aggression, right? It's like, and try to dictate the pace of the game. Elazer isn't really like that. He does it from time to time, don't get me wrong. Like, he does, you know, it's not like he never cheeses or he never all-ins, but it's more, more unusual for that. More rare. That's it. More rare for Elazer. As Lings, they dip in, we have a wave of Lings on the way behind this. As he does slip into the main. Say Duke in the main base. So far, good damage. Probe's going to be going down. And again, this is because the Cybercore is late, which means the Adept is late, and probes are falling already. 3 workers falling. A nice start for Elazer. At the same time, though, across the map, Adepts, they do shade in. The drone's going to be going down. 3 for 3. Does he recall back home? Does he shade away? Nice kiting. Up. Oh my god, 1 Adept goes down. 2nd Adept as well. Suddenly not as worth it here for Jumy. Elazer gains map control. Behind this, Elazer, he's droning up. We'll test the wall. I mean, the wall is wide open. Oh, the wall does not wall up in time. Not like this. The wall is not a wall. Lings, they fall into the mineral line. Probes are going down. And this is very similar to the previous game. Or was it game 1? It was game 1, yeah. Similar to game 1, where Elazer slipped in, got some damage, getting even more probe kills. And behind this, freely droning, freely saturating his bases. And again, this is all because of the disrupted start to the game. So shout out to Elazer. Again, he did notice how vulnerable Jumy was because of the late tech, because of the late wall, the late adepts. Like, everything was kind of messed up at the start of the game. He was vulnerable. And Elazer got 7 probes. So very nice damage. Behind this, Fleet... Yo, remember earlier how I said, like, oh, this is kind of looking like the game on Neon Violet Square? I stand by that. Fleet Beacon's on the way. We're rushing into either Tempest or Carrier. Let's go. I mean, it makes sense. Jumy's behind. Straight up. Jumy, he is behind. So how do you bounce back? Well, you can either be very greedy or hyper-aggressive. And this is a way of being greedy by taking up, at least taking up, rushing into tech, rushing into Sky Toss. We'll see if Jumy can get away with it. As in this position as a Protoss, you have to do something different. You have to do something crazy. And Jumy, he's all about the crazy. Now, Elazer, he invested into all these Lings, and these Lings are designed to deny a third. Unfortunately, there is no third, right? There is no third base. So this was a big investment. Adepts, they get across the map. 2 drone kills so far, not bad. Oh. Elazer, he does catch 1 Adept, gets another. Barely not. Getting another drone. 4 drones to 2 Adepts. Better trade here for Jumy, at least compared to the previous Adepts. Mothership's on the way. Ah, so it is just a Mothership rush, not Sky Toss. So this is all just for the Mothership. I mean, I say that, I guess Void Ray's on the way as well. It's a little bit of everything. like a kitchen sink setup here from Jumy. Mothership, Void Ray, sentries, extra gateways. It's all kind of coming, like gateway explosion, 2 base all in. Instead of these 3 gateways, we could have seen an expansion. So again, it's just full setup here on 2 bases. Now, we have been hearing, or at least we have been hearing murmurings here of like these Mothership rushes that have been plaguing the EU ladder. This isn't quite that, but you know, we're kind of like Frankensteining this together. And we'll see how this all plays out. I'll be honest, I'm not too convinced by what we're seeing here. It's very chaotic, but you know what? I'm here for it. Let's go. Now, Elazer, he does finish up his safety Roach Warren. He gets his 4th base. He has Mass Link to gain map control. Again, these links that were designed to deny an expansion. There is no base, but they can be used to defend regardless against a ground-based army. Speaking of, do we get the force fields? Ooh. Does force field in time. One Stalker gets not locked out. Very nice force fields. I mean, it's quite costly, but he does save his army. Does save his forces, but again, he's trapped here at his natural. Void Rays are building up. Spire's on the way. And where exactly is the mothership? Ooh, no, it gets scouted. I was gonna say that the mothership is gonna be skirting around for a big recall into the main, but the mothership has been seen, and now Elazer knows. Elazer should be getting ready in the main. Should be preparing, as he did spot the mothership. It should be, and at least he has his Ling Ravager. Carrier's on the way. You can see Jumy, he's getting ready. Now, the goal here should be to recall into the main and to force field the ramp, but you can see Elazer, he's ready for it. Again, he saw the mothership, so he knows to prepare in the main. Now, the way to make this work here is that Jumy needs a distraction. Does need a distraction here. Elazer being pulled out. So far, so good. Army's being active, rotating over towards the 3rd. The army gets spotted. And Jumy, he's going to have an opening. He's going to have an opportunity. Elazer, he's aware. He pulls back. He doesn't want to get caught out. And this is the power of a recall like this. Where is Jumy going? Does he just commit to a push towards the 4th? Oh no! Jumy distracted. Void Rays go down. Massive pickup. And here comes the mothership. Here comes the recall. Nice force fields. They do shut down the Lings. Things are falling. There's the recall into the main. But a lot of sentries go down. Yeah, there's no force fields left. This recall not as effective. Going for the slow zone. Okay, going for the slow zone. That's something. Army breaking through. There's still just such a large ground army though for Elazer. Does activate Cloak. Gotta be forced back. He does have another recall, but there's no way out of this. There we go. Does recall. Saves a handful of Stalkers. At the same time, Zelce go for the expansion. The slow lots. Can they bring it down? No, they won't. GG gets called. Jumy taps out and Elazer. He survives. Elazer, he will take game number 3 in a 2-1 lead in the series. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, just a really rough start there for Jumy. As a reminder, it all started with a cannon rush. I mean, it started with a failed and denied cannon rush, so it was just a really rough start for Jumy. Meant that his Cybercore was delayed, or he had to throw down Cybercore into his own Nexus, into just a really awkward start. Elazer, he punished Jumy with the Link Flood. It wasn't too committed. It was like 12 Lings. It was like 12 Lings, but they popped off. They wreaked havoc, and they just forced Jumy into an all-in. A very unique all-in is what I will say, but it was a big moment. I think I would stand by saying maybe the biggest moment for Elazer was scouting the mothership. When he saw the mothership, then he knew. Then he knew to be ready back at home. He knew not to be active on the map, and he was prepared. With that, GG, well played. We are getting into game number 4. Okay, let's go. All right, what do we get this time? We had a carrier rush. We had, a fake out DTs. We had a mothership rush. What haven't we seen so far? We haven't seen like a 2-base like charge all in. We haven't seen like a 2-base immortal slow lot all in. But we're loading into Abyssal Reef, one of the larger maps in the map pool, not really conducive to all ins. We'll see. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the German Protoss player. We have the green Protoss down in the series, one more loss, and he is out of the qualifier for Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the orange Zerg player. We have the orange Zerg representing Team Liquid, leading the series 2-1 from Lena, Poland. It is Elazer. But amass one more game here to take it all, to advance on, and to qualify for the OSC Season 12 Championship. For now, just going for the hatch first. For now, settling in. And our eyes, they have to be on Jumy. Now again, welcome one and all to Abyssal Reef. Abyssal Reef, it is the second largest map in the map pool, second largest only to Neon Violet Square. And we did see Jumy pop off in the late game. If you recall, on Neon Violet Square, if you weren't here for it, I recommend the VODs, but Jumy, he was, in a way, kind of, I say in a way, he did go for a very economic build into a carrier rush. He was kind of forced into it as he did lose a little workers to a Link Flood early on in game 1, then into mass carrier, into a maxed out army, into the late game, where he was able to pull Elazer apart and snowball out of control. You could argue that Elazer was overconfident or maybe tunnel visioning too much in that game, and that wouldn't happen again, but that is how he did approach Neon Violet Square. We could see a similar approach here on Abyssal Reef. The reason for this, similar to the previous map, we do have a very secure 5-base setup. Your natural, your third, your fourth, and your fifth base very easily secured here in your corner of the map. Likewise, long rushes is by ground. And the other big difference here, maybe even the biggest difference between Neon Violet Square and Abyssal Reef, is the choke points. Neon Violet Square, if you remember, is very open. It's very open in the center of the map. Here on Abyssal, less so. Here on Abyssal, there's choke points, there's cliff faces, there's all these little alleyways as well. And it means you can be more active with a Protoss army because you can avoid surrounds. You can avoid surrounds, you can force field locations, land some brutal storms. Makes for a very different dynamic when engaging in the center of the map, which allows you to be more active. At least when it comes to these center map attacks. When it comes to breaking one of these defensive positions here back at home, it can be quite difficult. And I guess similarly to Neon Violet Square, it's all about the 6th base. The 6th base is more exposed. So getting 6th expansion can be more difficult here on Abyssal. But now though, we're settling in. Do have our initial openers. Adept Stalker out of Jumy. The Stalker opener is interesting. You typically do not open Stalker unless your goal is to deny the Overlord and deny scouting. Lings, they slip in. And there is an Overlord behind the main. Oh, getting a probe. One probe goes down. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener, but the Overlord is almost in position to scout. As the Ling is shut down. And again, as we mentioned, typically when you open Stalker like this, your goal is to shut down the Overlord, and it looks like Elazer, he is aware. Yeah, he sees the Overlord. Does see it, he will zone it away. He will deny the scout. Big moment here for Jumy. Does keep the Overlord contained, or keep it out. Behind this, going into additional gateways, has a 4-gate setup, pulls out a gas. This looks like Glaive Adepts. Oh my god. Throwing down another gateway, and another, Jesus, getting up to 6? Okay. This is much more committed. This is not 4-gate glaives, it's either 6-gate glaives or charge. There we go, glaives are on the way, but very committed here by Jumy. Much more than usual, so he will have extra adepts, and his goal here now has to be to get damage done. To wreak havoc and to snowball out of control, to pull Elazer apart. We'll see if he can. Again, standard Glaive Adept builds are only 4. Only 4 gateways to warp in 4 adepts at a time, and usually you expand behind it. With 2 extra gateways, there's going to be no expansion here, not anytime soon. Jumy's going to be warping in. And warping in, and he's going to warp in a little bit more. He's just going to keep warping in. He's not going to stop. Aye, aye, aye. As here comes the Warp Prism. Ling's going to be zoned away. Jumy does move out. Does move out across the map. Is going to be committing. It's like Jumy is looking in the book of Protoss builds. Mate, he wrote a couple of chapters in that book, mate. What do you mean? That's the Jumy. Aye, aye, aye. Here we go. Adepts are warping in. Going for DTs. Let's go. It's 6-gate glaives plus DTs. Ah, he's doing it all. There is no expansion. Elazer, he's in position here to deny his scout. Oh, dropping into the main. Go for the Drop Lord. At the same time, here come the Adepts. Back then, what is it to defend? The Roaches are on the way. But the base is exposed. The Queen is going to go down. Drones force back. Drop Lord's coming in. So far, Jumy catching out some of the Roaches. Going for another big warp in behind this. Yeah, Lings, they just melt. Not enough roaches to fully engage. The roaches are going to be overwhelmed. Meanwhile, across the map, the Stalker does fall, but there is a defensive warp in. There's an Adept. There is an Adept back at home. So far, Lings, they don't quite get the surround. Adepts are shading past. And where are the DTs? Here they come. Here come the Dark Templar. And is there any detection? 0 spores. No spore at the natural. No spore in the main base. There is a lair. There is potential for an Overseer. Overseer is on the way. But the DTs are popping off. As the Overseer is about to finish, Adepts they shade into the main. The DTs are going for the expansion. And drones are falling. 14 worker kills already. 14 drones and the expansion. Can they get the base? Oh, Overseer's coming in. It's going to be close. Yeah, the base falls. Elazer is stuck on 2 bases across the map. Lings, they didn't get much done. And Jumy, now up in economy. He's even on bases, up in workers. Behind this, getting to immortal production. Getting ready for the roaches. He's done enough. Now going for Archon harass. Clave Adepts into DTs until Archons into an immortal push. As he's just building up the immortal counts. The goal of these Archons are to hunt down Overlords, hunt down Queens. To set up for the push. See how Jumy can pop off. Back at home is expanding. And Elazer is still behind. Elazer is still recovering, still just droning up as hard as he can. Is still droning. Archon's coming in. Adepts as well. And again, this is what Jumy's looking for. Any stray Overlords. Any Overlords out on the map will go down. Elazer has to pull back. Building on more roaches. Elazer going into Roach Hydra. Hydra Den has been placed. Jumy threatening the mineral line. Headed towards the main base. There is a Queen in position. Roaches as well. So far so good. Elazer, he hasn't lost too much. Only 1 Overlord. To the Archons, I mean. He lost more before that. I mean, he's still down in drones. Still down in workers. As Jumy, he finds another Overlord. Behind this, saturating his 3rd base. Building up more Immortals. He's got 3 already, getting up to 4. It's another Overlord going down. With this, Elazer trying to scout, dives into the main. We do have a Charge Lot +1 Immortal follow-up. I would imagine Jumy moves out with 5 Immortals, but it's just going to be a terrifying army. And Elazer, he's rushing into Lurkers. I mean, that would be a way to hold. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Queen goes down. But even if Elazer gets into like 5 Lurkers, Immortals, they can break through that. Oh, the contamination. Let's go. The contamination. Contaminates the Robo. Delays the Observer. And here comes Jumy. Here he comes. He's got 4 Immortals. He's got Mass Sentry. There's going to be the Observer to help support for detection. And the Lurker Den is still not done. And it would be the only way for Elazer to hold on. Elazer at the same time going for a massive counterattack. Zelts are out of position. Probe's going to be going down. Jumy, he pulls away. We'll be losing probes. Yeah, Zell gets surrounded. Workers have to pull out. And Jumy, he's going for the all-in. I mean, he was all-in to begin with. Let's go. 3rd base is going to fall. Jumy, he commits. 6 Lurkers in production. But there is detection. And the Observer is here, so is the Overseer. 1 Archon goes down. 2nd Archon as well. And can Jumy get on top of those Lurkers? He's stutter stepping forward. Observer does survive. 1 Lurker goes down. There's 5 left. Points are being pulled. And the Immortals, they are immortal. They just shut down the army. The Roaches, the Hydras, the Lurkers as well. Yeah, Jumy, he's done it. He breaks through the main force. And there's just nothing here. There's nothing left to defend. The Lurkers, they do nothing. The Lurkers get shut down. The Observer falls to the Spore after the Lurkers. And Jumy's done at the same time. Oh, Elazer, he does get into the natural. Depowers the Robo. Jumy, meanwhile, pushing in. We're going for the base trade. Jumy losing control of the natural base. Oh, he locks out the army, though. Hydras, they get force fielded in, and GG gets called. Jumy snowballs out of control, and Jumy ties up the series. We're going to the ace match. GG. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game 5. Again, a crazy aggressive build out of Jumy, going 6 Gate Glaive Adepts into DTs alongside them. Again, Elazer, he was caught off guard. He was somewhat keeping up with the Adepts, but they got, again, 14 worker kills. And the DTs, they were able to clean up the expansion and shut down the third base. From there, Elazer fell behind. Elazer's, his way to bounce back in that game was to rush into Lurkers. And he was able to get there, but as we saw, 6 Lurkers, they weren't enough. They were not enough here to hold on. They were completely shut down. Lurkers, they need support. They're, especially that early on, they're more of a supportive unit. Like, they need some kind of buffer ahead of them to help keep them alive, to help maintain them. But alas, the army just melted. And with that, GG. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game 5. We're going to the ace match. Here we go. It might be lower level than Server versus here, but it's more interesting, more creative builds. You say that, like, what? Elazer's like, what, top 3 Zerg in Europe? Like, what are you talking about? Like, when you think of the European Zergs, you think several Raynor, and then it's a, like, it's a shakeup between Lambo and Elazer, as they're, like, 3rd and 4th, respectively. Depending on the day, you could argue one over the other, but, yeah. Best in Europe, let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of King's Cove, we have the German Protoss player, the Green Protoss, representing Streamer Zone, forcing the ace match, bringing us here to game 5. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Zerg player, the Orange Zerg, representing Team Liquid. It is Elazer. Here we go. So we are settling in. And again, this is, I guess, maybe why we appreciate players like Hero, for example. Like, Hero, he has adapted the hell out of Serral before, for example. Like, Hero, maybe he's not as, maybe he is as chaotic as Jumy in a sense. Hero, he does play standard more often, though, but he is willing to mix it up and shake it up and do some crazy stuff as well from time to time. For now, though, we're selling in. Also, un momento. Okay, we're back. We're all good. Sorry, I smelled burning, so I was a little bit concerned. I was like, what's going on? We're all good, we're all good. As we are going to be able to settle in. So far, we do have our gate expanded to Cybercore standard opener so far out of Jumy. No crazy forge into cannon rush. Remember that? Remember the attempted cannon rush in this series? That was crazy. Aye, aye, aye. As Elazer, likewise, standard opener as well. Welcome one and all to King's Cove. Now, King's Cove is an interesting map as well. It's also a large map, 3rd largest map of the map pool, just behind Abyssal, just behind Neon Violet Square. A very secure 3-base setup, as there is a ramp coming into the natural, ramp coming to the 3rd base as well, so very secure on 3 bases. But when it comes to the other larger maps, the more exposed base is the 6th base, right? The 6th base is more exposed. Here, it's the 4th. The 4th base is very much so out in the open, as you can see here, is very out in the open towards the center, likewise towards the left-hand side as well. So it can be quite difficult maintaining a 4th base. A lot of the fights, a lot of the engagements do center around whether or not you can hold on to the 4th, and it goes both ways. That's typically how this goes, but Jumy is not the most standard of players, and even here, interesting, you typically do not hide the Stargate behind the mineral line. So this could just be for mind games, or this could be like a Void Ray opener. As typically you'd have the Stargate closer to the edge of the main to get your Oracle across the map that much faster. So interesting setup here by Jumy. Is still opening up Oracle. Ah, but he's banking the Oracle, so this makes sense. Players like Creator do this every now and then. Creator comes to mind more prominently, but the goal here is to make it look like it is a Twilight Council opener by keeping the Oracle back at home, waiting for the second Oracle, and then moving out. And the goal is that you hope that your opponent skips out and delays their spores, and then you can get some economic damage. So again, that is the reason why the Stargate is behind the mineral line. Meanwhile, the Overlord Scout is almost going to be denied. Lings, they dive in. And with that, the Lings, they do at least save the Overlord. They shut down the Stalker. Massive pickup. And the Overlords, they survive. But does Elazer, does he get into the main? Does he get in? As we do have both Overlords slipping past. Jumy takes the third. Jumy just now going to be moving out, I believe. Oh, just waiting for that second Oracle. Here we go. Second Oracle has arrived. And now Jumy, he pushes. And Elazer, by the time he realizes what's going on, is it going to be too late? Spores are just now on the way. And Jumy, he does send it across the map. Behind this, going for the Forge into Twilight Council. Overlord will confirm the Stargate. And the Queens should be getting in position. As they catch the transfer workers, not bad. He gets one, he gets two, he gets four. Gee, oh my god. As an episode wreaking havoc, 8 drones going down. Ay, ay, ay. And this is what Jumy was hoping for. Again, the spores are not done. They're not ready. Elazer, he thought it was a Twilight Council. He didn't know it was Stargate. And with that, 11 drone kills and a queen. Up, can he get it? He wants it. Oh my god. Does get the queen. Jumy backs up at the same time. Lings, they counterattack here at the third base. Can they force a cancel? They at least catch 2 zealots. But there is a defensive warp in. Pylon is under fire. Pylon will go down, but Jumy defends. Jumy does defend. And again, all that damage is because he was hiding the Stargate, banking up those Oracles, caught Elazer with his pants down. And now Jumy follows this up, not with +1 and Blink, but with +1 and Charge instead. A much more aggressive build. This is going to be hitting here with a +1 timing with Charge Lots and Archons. So Jumy is being more aggressive, more assertive. Again, Jumy does not often play standard. And it's on Elazer here to figure out what's going on and confirm how much danger he's in. Now, this is a tell. What I'm referring to, what are we seeing here? We're seeing Zealot Warpins and Zealot Reinforcements. So this tells Elazer that it is going to be Charge, that it is not going to be Blink. And the Elazer, he needs Roaches. Or Banelings. Or both. Both would be ideal. Back at home, we do have the Roach one at least. Elazer just joining up, saturating his bases, getting up to 3-base saturation, going for the Hydra Den as well. But again, thankfully, he did not skip the Roach Warren. And he will need them to defend, to survive. Jumy setting up for a 4th. A little bit out of place. There we go. Pylon gets thrown down. Australia, hey papi, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Buenos días, good morning. As Zealots move that across the map, +1 is about to finish up in 10 seconds. But there are Lings to defend. Again, Lings, they don't trade amazingly against Charge Lots, unfortunately. So this is why we did mention that Roaches would be required, or Banelings. Alas, Elazer is going Ling Hydra, skipping Roaches. Bold move. Bold move by Elazer. Lings, they try to bust into the natural. More Charge Lots on the way. As Jumy is building up. Oh! Nice stasis. Stasis goes up on the Lings. And these Hydras are vulnerable. They are going to be vulnerable here as Elazer is moving out. Jumy banking up more Zealots. Getting to High Templar, into Storm. And as the Elazer pushes, we have a Zealot run on the right, and we have a Zealot drop on the left. Uh-oh. And Elazer, he turns around. Yeah, he does turn everything back around. He was setting up for a push. But as Zealots, they hit the natural, they get a queen. Likewise, getting to the mineral line, drones are falling. And this is giving Jumy so much time. The army should have been here by now. But Elazer is forced back. There's a recall back home. War Prism still alive here between the bases. And now Elazer pushes, but again, this is delayed. At the same time, Contamination! Contamination pops up. Actually, really important. Storm is crucial here for defense. Storm is going to be crucial, and now Jumy doesn't have it. Yeah, big moment here for Elazer. Denies Storm. Denies the stasis. Is pushing in. There's going to be Archons to defend. And he still needs Storm. As Elazer is gaining ground, started stepping forward, pushing into the mineral line. Probes are going down. At the same time, Zella run by. And here comes a Storm. Storm is done. There's the first, there's the second Storm. Not bad. But it might not be enough. Oh, a third Storm even. Third Storm pops up. Do we have a fourth? We do. Fourth Storm connects. There's one Archon left. Elazer focuses on the Immortal. The Archon barely survives. Takes down the Lings. And takes down the Hydras. Oh my god. And throughout all of this, the Zealots are popping up across the map. Jumy warping in across the map instead. Warping in aggressively. Catching out the Queens, catching out reinforcements. The Prism barely survives. And drones are going down left and right. Everything's on fire. As drones going down at the third in the main base, and the third is at the natural as well. And GG gets called. Elazer gets broken, and Jumy will take the series 3-2, qualifying for the OSC Season 12 Championship. GG. Este Jumy. GG, well played. Jumy just pulling Elazer apart, buying so much time, barely buying enough time for Storm as well. He barely held on across back at home, and then across the map, the warp-ins did not stop. Getting into every mineral line, killing drones, catching reinforcements. Elazer had nothing left. Down to what, 50 supply towards the end. GG. GG, well played. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Mooning Pig. Oh my god, calm down. But thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime for the first time. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Jumy qualifies. Let's go. As you can imagine, these matches did occur a couple of days ago, and after they occurred, Jumy was kind enough to share these replays. We were able to cover his series against Dolan, cover his series against Elazer. Very close matches. Again, he went to the ace match against Dolan. There's a world where Dolan takes that series. Likewise here against Elazer as well. Very chaotic, very unorthodox. Elazer having a hard time keeping up with the aggression of with the aggression of Jumy, and Jumy barely takes the win. GG. He's an animal. Absolute animal. GG, well played. Amazing series. Yeah. I think we're just catching up. Just catching up. Soul Train follow-up. True. Mass stasis trap. Oh no, we haven't seen that in a while. Not wrong. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves with that. Jumy qualifies and Jumy makes it through, and we're going to be seeing more of Jumy in the OSC Season 12 Championship. May as well take this moment to have a look at the bracket and to have a look at what is to come this week in the championship. Un momento. Just setting things up. It's quite a large bracket. It's quite daunting to look at as well. Okay, from the top. We do have a lot of Protoss. Jesus, someone was saying that earlier. But let us switch our scenes over and have a look at the brackets. Okay. We'll switch our scene over. Bam, beautiful. We have our bracket. Okay, from the top. So this, welcome one and all to the season championship. Jumy just qualified. He did just qualify for the event, so congratulations to Jumy. As a result, Elazer did not. Elazer is denied the event, and these are the players that are seeded because of their performances throughout the year. For those that are curious, for those that weren't here earlier, the OSC Esports, they are an organization that partner with other tournaments. They run their own tournaments as well, and throughout the course of a year, players, they accumulate points. So many online events provide OSC points, and with that, players, they are seeded into the event at the end of the year based on their performances, based on their placements, of course. Because that, these are the seeded players. We have 19 Protoss, 7 Terran, and 6 Zerg. Welcome to online StarCraft. This is like the this is like the IM Katowice or the World Championship of online tournaments in SC2. And again, Protoss players, they very much so, they dominate online events. So we got 19 Protoss players, 7 Terrans, and 6 Zerg. We have players like Max and Shin. They were the finalists. They were the finalists of the mid-season playoffs, so they do get seeded in. And then based on the championship bracket, or based on their performances throughout the year, we have Classic, we have Creator, Geralt, Hero, Christiana, Middle-VK, Nightmare, Rebellion, Shameless, and Skilless from the side of Protoss. And we have Björn, Clem, Cure, Honmono, Nikrak from Terran, Dark, Wayne, and Young Yakov for Zerg. So these are the players that have been seeded in based on their performances. Meanwhile, we have the qualified players. But through the qualifiers, we have Arrowfire, Art, DNS, Jumy. We just saw him qualify. There's Jumy, Lemon, Lunacy, Mana, and Night Phoenix, alongside Baby Marine, Spirit, Mixu, and Solar. These are the players making it through those qualifiers. And all together, we have the championship bracket. Here we go. And here it is. Now, as you can imagine, every match is going to be casted, and it's going to take the month. It's going to take all of January, maybe coming into February, but at least all of January to cover all of this, because, mate, you thought you saw it all. Double elim. It's a double elimination bracket, so from the very top, and again, based on their performances, certain players are seeded, so you can see here, Hero, he's seeded 2 rounds in. Max, Geralt, Shin, like they have been seeded further into the bracket, so look forward to seeing them later on. But for the time being, we have Young Yakov versus Skilless. Going to be a fun ZVP. Young Yakov has been improving a lot over the past 6 months. Skilless likewise has been leveling up recently as well over the past couple of months, has been getting better and better results. We've seen Skilless take down Solo, we've seen take down Shin, take down Dark. Skilless has been popping off in this matchup as well. Do look forward to it. Winner goes up against Nikrak, winner goes up against Hero in the next round. Oh. Scrolling down, we have some PvPs. We have Nightmare versus Rebellion facing off. Nightmare is going to be favored. Best of luck to Rebellion in that series. We have Cure and Creator. That is a brutal first round map. Jesus. Cure and Creator facing off in the first round. Aye. We have Christiana versus Middle-VK, and we have Wayne versus Classic. Another match I'm going to be looking forward to, so do look forward to that. Likewise, Cure versus Creator is going to be a banger of a TVP. So do wish them all the best. And again, we have Max, Geralt, and Shin lying in wait. And likewise, at the bottom, we have Homeowner versus Shameless into Clem. Homeowner versus Shameless, that looks like a lot of fun as well. That looks like a chaotic TVP into Clem, into Shin. Meanwhile, we have players seated into the lower portion of the bracket. These are the players that made it through the qualifiers. It is brutal, but you know, that's why you got to play in these online tournaments throughout the year. All these players in the upper half of the bracket were seated in because of their performances. The players seated in the lower half of the bracket are from the qualifiers. So it is much more difficult for them to make deeper runs, but of course it means that these upper players have a life. They have a life to work with because they have a lower bracket to catch them when they fall. And we have Solar versus Lemon, Mana versus Lunacy, Night Phoenix versus DNS, Art versus Spirit, Baby Marine versus Mixu, Jumy versus Arrowfire at the bottom as well. So here we go. We have our final brackets here. We have our final players. If there are some players that you see are missing, then it is because they do not compete in online tournaments. Like, we have some of the best players in the world, like Max, Hero, and Clem, for example, but we don't have players like Cyril and Raynor. Cyril and Raynor do not play in online tournaments. They rarely compete. They only play in big premier events. But there are other top players like, again, Hero, Clem, and Max. They're just grinders. They play in everything. Shin as well. Like, they play in all these online tournaments, regardless of their size. They're there for it. They are there for it. Another player that doesn't compete in online events, alongside Cyril and Raynor, players like Showtime, players like Big Gabe, Hero Marine, Lambo, who else? Maru. Again, they're just certain players that they're not as active. They do other things, whether it's they make their own content, like on their own like YouTube channel, their own streams, or other things as well. So if you want to see them in these events for next time, get them to play in online tournaments. Aye. So yeah, it is a stacked bracket. It is stacked. It's big. Just catching up. Just catching up. So this bracket is going to be starting this week, by the way. Not today. Not going to be starting today. We just wrapped up the qualifier, but this week is going to be the beginning of the OC bracket. We will be casting some of these matches. I don't know which ones yet. We're going to be provided, because there's so many matches happening at once, the organizer is going to be collecting replays early on, and we'll be casting these matches via replays, I believe, at the end of the week. I think like Thursday, Friday. Thursday, Friday is when we're going to be casting. And typically, because there are so many matches and because OSC is run and there are so many partners for OSC and so many casters, usually the matches are spread out between casters. So ourselves here on the CranKy Ducklings, Steadfast, for example, Dave Testa, for example, Chicken Man, Wardy, usually we do kind of split up and we do cover our own matches. And typically the finals is covered by Wardy. Like Wardy, he usually has dibs on like the final rounds, the grand finals. Back here, oh right, my apologies, I didn't quite scroll far enough. We have Beyond and Dark at the end here as well, as they've been seeded towards the very end of the bracket, as they are the top seeds of the year. Again, Dark and Beyond also grinders. They also grind a lot of online tournaments. So I look forward to it. Do look forward to it. But again, so usually these final rounds are covered by Wardy. We are usually covering the earlier rounds instead. And again, it's going to be starting this week. It is going to be starting this week, so look forward to it. Consider following us. Consider following us here on Twitch or on YouTube or on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, Twitter. We do post whenever we go live. Hold on, I got you covered. Exclamation mark socials in the chat. And you can follow us, so you'll be notified when we are going to be covering this event or any other events. This is our first broadcast of the day. Later on tonight, we're going to be live with Wardy TV Monday. Wardy TV Monday is going to be in 10 hours? 9.5 hours time. We're going to be live with the Wardy TV Monday, so a lot of StarCraft tonight. A lot of StarCraft to come. Yeah. A lot of StarCraft to embrace. And tomorrow we have the Pegasaur Monday and Lil League Cup. Meanwhile, we're going to be going on a break. We are not done yet today, but again, a bit of a shorter broadcast. We wrapped up all the qualifiers. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes with a viewer replay cast. For those that are curious, if you're in the chat and if you're accumulating channel points, you can spend some of your channel points, if you wish, on having us cast your replays. So viewer replays are available. We did have a couple of these points redeemed throughout the past couple of days, so we're going to be just jumping in, having a more chill, having a more laid-back cast of viewer replays, and yeah, just something a little bit less serious here while we wrap up the stream. So we have a couple of replay casts from viewers, and then we'll be wrapping up, and we'll be back later on tonight in 9 hours time with the Wardy TV Monday. So with that, we'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Otherwise, hope you had a great time here in this tournament or during this cast, during this event, and we'll see you next time, either after the break or, for the next big events like Wardy TV Monday or Pegasaur Monday or Leo Lee or Master Colosseum, whatever it happens to be. For now, going to be going in that short break. Take this time to drain your disruptors, massage your marines, tuck in your tempest, cuddle your carriers, and we'll be back soon with some more StarCraft. See you then. See you then. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OSC has returned. We have returned with something a little bit different, something a little bit special here. We just wrapped up with the OSC Season 12 Championship Qualifier, and again, congratulations to Jumy and some crazy games out of Jumy and a great series between himself and Elazer alongside Dolan as well. But now we are here with some viewer replay cards. Again, if you're in the chat, once you accumulate enough points, you can redeem a replay card. So you can join us on Discord. You can submit your replays there, and you will force me to bear witness to your replays. No. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see what Sounder has to offer. Sounder, he has been submitting a lot of replays over the past couple of years at this point, and so from time to time does share some 1v1 replays, but here he's sharing some team game replays instead. I mean, recently we have been embracing a lot more team game tournaments, like the Thermal 2v2 event, like some show matches as well, related to WTL, related to World Team League. Wardy's been hosting his own 2v2 event, so it's been great to see a little bit more team game action, and I'm ready. I may be excited. We'll see. I do miss playing team games. I'll be honest, I haven't played any team games in years at this point, and I know that the map pool was refreshed, so it's great to see some new maps once again in 2v2s and 3v3s. So we'll see what we stumble ourselves into here, as we're going to be jumping into a 2v2 featuring Sounder against some ladder opponents. Going to be on Arctic Flowers. Let's go. Let us go. Of course, Sounder is on Team Bud Air. So we have Team Bud Air up against our red team. And here we go, spawning in the right-hand corner of Arctic Flowers. We have Team Red. We have our red team, we have our Terran, we have our Protoss, we have a Saiyan Master and True Legends. Not Jumy. Hold on. Let me try to fix some things up here when it comes to the UI. Bam. There we go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue team. We have Team Butt Air with our Terran player, Butt Sneezer, and our viewer, the Protoss, Sounder. The application that we use for intros with the fanfare doesn't like 2v2s or team games, so it's a little bit broken. It's showing Elazer and Jumy, but this is not Elazer and Jumy. I can confirm. Other people, other players, let's go. As we are settling in, and welcome one and all to one of the newer maps in the map pool. Again, this is a map that I have yet to experience myself. I say newer map, it was introduced a couple of months ago, or maybe even almost a year ago at this point, to the 2v2 ladder map pool. Is a little bit more open, a lot of bases. We have these center goal bases, we have speed zones as well, and we also have a cheeky proxy out of Sounder. Oh boy. Pylon has in place, and I'm curious what our proxy does entail. Based on its location, this will not be a bad location for a proxy Stargate, like Stargate into Oracle, into harassing into the main base. There's potential for damage, but we'll see what Sounder goes for, as we have yet to throw down a Cybercore. Gateway's just now finishing up, and the Cybercore is on the way from our red Protoss player. Looks like we have more economic racks expand here by our Terran. And no Cybercore for Sounder. Wait, what? Sounder. What's going on? So a delayed Cybercore here means that if we were planning for some hidden tech, then it is going to be delayed as well, so bear that in mind. We'll see if anything does come to pass with this proxy. Otherwise, we're settling in. When it comes to Sounder's teammates, I believe he typically embraces mech, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm assuming that's going to be happening here as well, as we do have a proxy factory. Okay. So both are blue players going for their own proxy setups. Meanwhile, both red players expanding, getting their naturals. Natural bases are getting up and running. Do you see a Saiyan Master going for his own follow-up factory? And there it is, proxy Stargate. Now again, this is a little bit inefficient. The Stargate is quite late compared to a typical proxy Stargate because the Cybercore was delayed as well. So a bit of a shaky build here, but I mean, proxy Stargate nonetheless into, I would imagine, Oracles, potentially into Void Rays. Meanwhile, Saiyan Master also going double Stargate. Oh boy. Double Stargate here from our red Protoss. I would assume that this is the setup for Phoenixes, I would assume. Meanwhile, we spoke about mech. Mech is on the way from the red Terran player. Double factory. Double factory into mech. Second racks into bio. Okay, so we have a bio setup here from the red Terran. Proxy tank. That has, as he does proxy the factory into a tech lab. Meanwhile, proxy Void Ray here from Sounder. Void Rays are on the way. Tanks are being proxied as well. So it should just be straight up all in. I say that, I mean, Sando is expanding. And he doesn't really have too much more behind this. Meanwhile, both Sandmaster and True Legends are setting up their red team. They're setting up back at home. Scan into the main, doesn't see anything, which is a bit of a tell in of itself. Sees no tech from the Protoss, which is very suspect. And the red Protoss is massing up Phoenixes. Phoenixes are amassing. Likewise, Void Ray's building up. And the Phoenixes, they will get eyes on at least the pylon. They see both. They see both pylons, but they don't quite see the proxy yet. Otherwise, we could try to dive on that Void Ray ahead of time. But for now, is scouting across the map. Este Hyper 1. Ay, ay, ay. Send me the replay on Discord, Hyper 1. Send me the replay. Shaking my head. I'm assuming an SC Evo replay, I'm assuming. But sure, sure. I'll get on it, I'll get on it. We'll get there, we'll get there. You can message me, you can message me. Oh, no. I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping like a Paradox map. Are we... Do you have a replay on Paradox? I know it's sort of like 2 seasons ago, but I miss it. I do miss it. I think about it all the time. As Phoenixes, they're still backing up back at home. Here comes the proxy coming into play. 2 tanks. 2 tanks for the Blue Terran. Getting within range of the bunker. Likewise, Void Rays, they may have their shield battery support. And with help of the shield batteries, they can push through. Turret's being thrown down. Bunker does fall. Void Ray keeping the Phoenixes busy. More shield batteries on the way. Oh. Going for the turret. Turret goes down. And that's a kill, not a cancel. Meanwhile, the tanks are gaining ground. Ooh, they push in, they shut down the tank. And so far, the Blue Terran doing well here, getting to the expansion, getting to the mineral line. And honestly, the Phoenixes, if they turn around, they could clean this up. 100%. Phoenixes, they can lift up both tanks, they can shut down the Marines, shut down the Vikings as well. But the Phoenixes, they're otherwise busy. They're preoccupied. Again, not as much team unity or unison here between Sandmaster and True Legends. He needs the Phoenixes to help defend. Oh. Does rally 1 in at least. 1 is not going to be enough. Meanwhile, Phoenix is rallying into the Void Rays. Phoenix goes down. Yo, we got that Tempest as well. The Tempest Rush has arrived. Yeah, both Sounder and his teammate, they're breaking through. They take down the Natural. Pushing towards the Natural now of the Terran. Vikings are building up. We have Macula Accelerators on the way. Oh, Jesus. Our Prismatic Alignment is brutal. Oof. And the Phoenixes, they overextend. Phoenix is taking a lot of hits, a lot of damage. Natural is denied. Again, Cyclones are building up for the Red Terran. That is a lot of Phoenixes. And the shield batteries are out of energy. With that, they bring down 1 Void Ray. It takes so long to get 1. They get 2, they get all 3. 3 Void Rays go down. And can they take down the Tempest? They're working on it. They're gonna get 1. They're gonna get maybe 1 Tempest here, just barely. 1 Tempest goes down. Alas, there's another on the way. Sounder has 2,000 minerals, by the way. We could have afforded definitely more Sack Defense and maybe a second Stargate and some extra gases and... Or at least just give the money to your teammate. I mean, it's fine, it's fine. Who needs 2,000 minerals? Who needs it? Nah, we're fine, Pappy, we're fine. As the Natural is denied. And we have 1 base versus 2 base. I mean, both Blood Caesar and Sounder, they are expanding. Taking the bases back at home. Sounder was almost fully cleaned up, but he's still maintaining himself. As the red team, they're trying to break out. Gateway is on the way, still rallying across the map. Recalling back home. Interesting. Doesn't want to get caught out by the Phoenixes. And at this point, it's all just about delaying the expansion. Back at home, extra gases can be taken, another Stargate, into a Twilight Council, into Blink, into Charge. They can take any which way they want. And at this point, arguably, our blue Terran here can just 1v2. I'll be honest. It's going to be picked away. It's going to be picked apart. But potentially could have committed in. But now we're going to slow things down. We back off. We take our expansions and macro out of this. Okay. We are going to be macroing out of this. Saturating the expansions. Do I know why our blue Terran took this base? Nope. But you know what? It's fine. It's getting up and running. Alright, we're Sounder getting his third. I guess just staying out of each other's way. It's fine. It's fine. And from here, the pressure's on our red team to bounce back in some way to get some kind of harassing damage, whether it's DTs, Phoenixes, and Mineral Lines. Draw play across the map. Just turtling from here is not going to be good enough. Even with mech. From here, we're going to be selling in. Oh, it's there's Sando in the chat. From here, we can take a third base. And both Sando and his teammate, they should be the first to max out from here as well. Third base now on the way for both players. Getting up to 3 base economies. And just chilling. Meanwhile, we do have our red Protoss going into mass Void Ray production. Okay. I mean, just making use of what we have. Making 2 Void Rays at a time. Proxies finally being dealt with. Gee, triple armory. He's getting 3 armories. He's getting 1-1-1. Triple armory on the way. Let's go. We're making it up. No shot that they stabilize from here. I mean, there is a chance if the blue team is too passive, if they back off and if they settle and if they get like 4 and 5 bases and if they wait until they're max themselves, then there's a chance definitely that maybe the red team can recover. But it is a very small chance at this point. At least it should be. As they're also getting up to their 3 base economies. Uh-oh. Getting up to 3 bases. Because of the mech composition from the red Terran, I mean, he's going to have a more efficient army. That is true. Like, pushing into this siege line is not going to be easy. Assuming it's ready in time. Fleet beacons on the way. Protoss also soon to be getting into Sky Toss. Like, the armies that they're working towards, I mean, they can work quite well if they can get their economies going. And they're getting there. They are getting there. Meanwhile, players back at home, still just taking more bases, taking more expansions. Looks like we are skipping warp ins. So taking a little bit longer to really build up the army. Yo, Thors are on the way. Now, the problem here with the current game state, given how small the armies are, is that the Red Terran Saiyan Master, he is spread quite thin. He has a pretty formidable force, don't get me wrong, but he's spread here between the left-hand side, he's spread here between the right-hand side as well, so these individual locations are quite vulnerable. As if there's ever a fight, he's only going to be fighting with half his army. If that. So that is going to be important once the blue team moves out. Blue Terran is going to be the first to max. Been macroing quite well. Solid macro. Mixing in a couple of Thors. Okay, getting into triple factory. Like Biotank Thor. Bit of a hybrid army. Tempest are on the way. Yo, do we make a game out of this? It's possible. It is possible. There should soon be move-outs as blue team is about to max, or at least the blue Terran is about to max out, so there should be a move-out soon. where the armies do push. Typically, the reason why Mech and Skytoss is the go-to in team games, and that's kind of what the red team is working towards, is because they usually stay out of each other's way. So the Mech army is very ground-based, very much so ground-based, and the Skytoss army, of course, in the air as well, so they can kind of maneuver in unison and kind of take these fights together. With both Sando and Bussneezer focusing on ground armies, things can get a little bit awkward and they can get in each other's way. So I'm not as in love with the army composition that we're working towards. We do see, more Stargates, more Tempest production here out of Red Protoss. And we'll see how the fights come together here. We could just see two, like, separate individual fights instead, instead of fighting as one. That'd probably be the ideal. Again, red team is still building up, getting more Tempest. I think the best chance here for the red team is if either of these blue players move out on their own. If either of them move out on their own and they fight 1v2, then they can lose their armies. Then red team can bounce back that way as well. As it looks like we are being quite passive here. Both armies are maxing out, 200 supply. And we should soon be pushing. Should soon be pushing here. Likewise, Saiyan Master, he's maxed out. we've gotten to the point where the red team's also maxing out. I would say with a better army, but the red Protoss is still lagging behind. And here comes the move out. And it looks like they're both going for the Protoss. Alas, the Meching Terran is out of position. He's over on the left-hand side. He's not where he needs to be. He's not here to support his teammates. I mean, he doesn't know he has to be, right? Like, they don't see the army all coming together. There we go. Now he does respond. And the base is going to go down. That is a lot of Tempest. Jesus, how many Tempest? 11. 11 Tempest. They can kite well. They can't kite back. Tanks get in position. The Bio Army dusts them in. And the Libs at later siege. The tanks as well. And from here we can stim and we can win. The Liberators are all going to be falling. Getting on top of the Thors. And from here they just break through the main army. Tempest, sure, they're kiting back in the main. They've been quite efficient, that is true, but, I mean, everything else has fallen. The bases, the expansions, the Terran army. From here, we can just send it, Pappy. We can send it. Keep going. Don't stop. And again, the Tempest are doing well for themselves, but they're being kept busy here by these Archons. And oh no, do we... oh no. Are we going for the Great Migration? Are we going to lift everything? Not like this, Pappy, not like this. As the natural races are falling. I mean, true, there is still a very large Tempest force, so technically there is a way to bounce back here. There is a way to hold. As you're just sniping Archon after Archon, Thor after Thor. The Tempest, they're popping up. And he's making 6 Tempests at a time. No shot. Yes, pure Tempest. Let's go. As the Tempest army moves in, these Tempests will kill everything. By the way, they will kill. They will clean this up. The Bio, the tanks. From here, Vikings going to be required. Vikings, Thors, Skytoss as well out of the Protoss. How many Tempests do we have? 18. 18 Tempests. That's crazy. Oh my god. Let's go. But again, the economies are not really there, right? Like, we're pretty, like, we're all in. At this point, the Red Protoss is completely all in. This army has to end the game. And it takes a long time. Tempests are quite slow. They're not the most mobile of units here. Going for the planetary. Bio Army stims in. And they do catch one Tempest. One Tempest go down. Oh, second Tempest almost goes down as well. And they have to pull away. Oof. Second Tempest falls. Third Tempest as well. There's just not enough support. And the Marines, they can just stim in. They stim in. They take down the Tempest one after the other. Losses that the Red Protoss can't afford. You just can't afford these losses. Being cornered. Oof. Losing another Tempest. Finally gets into the dead space. But everything else is on fire. We once had 18 Tempest, now we're down to 10. Almost cut in half. Oh, the Archons! Tempest, they were left idle. The Archons, they should not have gotten onto the Tempest. Should not have happened. Oof. So another Tempest falls. And from here, you can just commit into these run bys, deny bases, deny mineral lines. The blue team should be good. It should be fine. They should be fine. There was potential with the 18 Tempest. It would have been ideal if they positioned themselves here on the left-hand side instead. As we saw, you do need to make use of the terrain with Tempest. You have to make use of these cliff faces. You have to make use of the dead space as well. Alas, that did not occur, and there it is. No GG, no GG. As Sounder, as teammate, will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. They do take their first 2v2 game, and we have another team game ahead of us as well. Again, with that, I mean, it was impressive that that the red opponents were able to recover somewhat. I mean, the Tempest had the potential. I do prefer their army composition overall, but I mean, they were just crippled economically. Like they had nothing. They had nothing to sustain themselves, nothing to keep going. The initial proxy did pop off. GG, GG, well played. And that leads us into a map that I'm unfamiliar with, Lost July. It's going to be a 3v3 instead. Okay. Up against Team Manco. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's a Latin American team. Okay. Let's go. Do I know any of these players? I don't know them. I don't know them. Oh, no. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our potentially Australian team. I'm unfamiliar with Bud Air, but we do have our double Protoss and our one Zerg. We have Sounder, Wagon, and a Dabba Dude. Let's go. Abba. I go with Abba. Let's go. Abba, Wagon, and Sounder. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Latin American team. On Team Mancos, we have King, Demonic, and Uranus. Oh, 2 Terrans and a Zerg up against 2 Protoss and a Zerg. Let's go. Let's go. I always remember casting Team Anti-Mancos back in the day. Always. SMH my head. From here, we do have our initial openers. We have our Raxes on the way. Oh, I don't have individual colors. Oh, that's going to be confusing. That's why everything's blue and everything's red. I should fix that up. Regardless. Blue team up against red team. So far, this time no proxies, nothing too crazy. Gonna be a more defensive opener here from our red player. Going gas first, going gas pool. Into a delayed hatchery. So much more aggressive starts. Meanwhile, we have our own gate expands from our Protoss players. So just gate into Nexus. I'm not really too fond of these more safer openers, but if I remember correctly, I believe we have casted Abba before, and I believe he has gone into mass muta. I think that's usually what he does, just goes into like fast lair, into fast gases, into like 2 base muta. We'll see if that continues here, that trend continues. Back at home, our trio just settling in, saturating their bases. Oh, I did mention mutas, but that is going to be a fast roach warren here. Okay, now the early gas and early pool makes sense into an early roach rush. I'm not too fond of like early aggression like this, just because, especially if you're on your own, especially if the other two players are macroing, then it's 1v3, and the chances of these roaches getting damaged done early on should be a lot lower. But we'll see. We'll see how many roaches Abba does produce and how hard he commits. We shall see. So players are expanding. Roach Warren is now done, and do we have any roaches in production here? We do. We have 2 roaches. let's go. 2 roaches on the way, and then droning. So again, just a really light commitment to roaches. This is quite expensive. Quite an expensive start here for Abba, and this might just be safety at this point. As it's taking more bases, droning up. Yeah, it just has a safety amount of roaches. Back at home, both players are just saturating their bases. Blink is on the way from one of our Protosses, and that's going to be a Twilight Count on a Forge from the other. Most likely into Blink, potentially Charge. Potentially Charge on the way. Meanwhile, these are 3-minute 20 lair timings from both players. With these early lairs, I'm feeling Muta from both players as well. I mean, there is also a safety Roach Warren from our Uranus Manco. Let's go. Does have his own Roach Warren. But for now, droning up, we'll see if we do tech into something like Aspire, or into just Roach Speed. This nation scouting across the map. Does poke in, does scout. And we have the answer, it is going to be Charge, so Charge and Archons on the way. From the side of the Red Protoss team. I appreciate that they're taking in different directions. 1 Blink, 1 Charge, let's go. Yo, I'll be honest, I mean, the UI for team games are awful, and seeing the line up here, seeing this lineup, it's so hard to read. just the lines of production, aye. It doesn't help that blue's on top for some reason and red's on the bottom. Doesn't help. Here we go. Elazer busts into the mineral line. Getting a couple of workers. I think people have been speaking about this recently, but again, yeah, like just the UI for team games is less than ideal. Elazer poke in, they get a couple of workers. The lairs are done, and do we have any hidden tech here? So far, not quite. Despite both players rushing to very fast lairs, they're not really making use of it here. I mean, I guess there's a Hydrogen on the way from our blue Zerg player, but our red Zerg has yet to really embrace any faster tech, any earlier gases, so a bit of a more inefficient start here by rushing into the lair as quickly as he did is inefficient, but there it is. Now we have the answer, Mutas. So again, we have casted this player before. It is going to be going into Mass Muta. Meanwhile, the opposing Zerg going to Hydras. When it comes to our Terran players here, we do have Mech on the way. I believe Mech for both, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Mech for both players. So Mech and Roach Hydra on the way against Blink Stalkers, Charge Archon, and Mutas. So now we are going to be settling in. Banshees that have arrived. Poking forward. They will at least depower all this production. Not bad. Pylon goes down. Pylon does fall. Both players building up. We are settling in. And here come the Mutas. This is basically what I was waiting for. Mutas are on the way. This should be the first sign of aggression from the red team. They've just been turtling up back at home, you know, with their Protoss-based armies. Mutas can be somewhat active, but there aren't that many Mutas to work with. I wouldn't be opposed to the other teammates maybe feeding gas to the Zerg to like actually make this work. For now, it's just a handful of Mutas, though. It's literally 2. Just 2 Mutas. So not ideal. And the scan does reveal the Muta. With that, our players should be preparing back at home. Throwing down turrets, throwing down side defense. I mean, turrets are already in place, Jesus, at least for some of the players. The turtling is real. Turtling is real. And it actually isn't really going to be a big commitment into mutas. I assumed it would be. I assumed it'd be like, you know, maybe 10 mutas moving out across the map. But it's literally like 3. It's like 3 mutas, then into roach speed into a ground-based army instead. So it's mainly going to be roach here from our red Zerg. And again, so far our players have just been really passive. Just really passive play. Just securing their economies, building up a semblance of an army. As we are gearing up. What I will say here is that at least some of these mech armies are quite terrifying, but they're also spread out. We have a mech-based army here on the right-hand side. Likewise, we have some tanks on the left, but not really too many. So an attack on the left-hand side could actually get a lot of ground. Can gain a lot of ground, get a lot of damage done. These bases looking very exposed. Do we push in? Send it, wagon. Send it. We can just aim it. There's nothing here. There's 2 unsieged tanks. Where's the rest of this army, by the way? Hold on. King. Okay. He's only got 4 tanks. See, it looks like his macro has been slipping quite a bit. So this is half his army. Instead, wagon rotates to the right-hand side. So this was the most vulnerable location to push into. I mean, now there's Roach Hydra moving in. Here on the right-hand side, this is a more fortified location, which happens to be kind of where they're headed. I mean, we'll see. They're going to be distracted by the Roach Hydra. They rotate back around. Last Sano, he's already in position. Army responds. A lot of posturing. More bases being taken. And the mech army is somewhat moving out. We'll see how 2 players do respond. Now, Roach Hydra doesn't really scale well into the mid game. I believe there is a lurker den. I think we saw it previously. My apologies. No, never mind. I mean, there is. Okay, there is a lurker den. Lurkers are now on the way. These are late, which is a little bit concerning. And if the Protoss army had pushed in, then damage would have been done, but the lurkers looks like they would just finish up in time. Oh, can they finish? They will. And lurkers do complete, they burrow, and they zone away the army. So far, so good. Libs have arrived as well. Liberators are here. Oof. They take a storm to the face. Take a storm. Likewise, we do have our players getting ready on the right hand side. Building up. But I mean, a lot of players are starting to max out. We have a maxed out Charger Archon army towards the left. And I believe we have a maxed out Terran army as well. Yeah, this army here. King, he is now maxed out. He's pushing in. He's got a massive amount of tanks and Thors. These Hydras, they cannot fight within range of the tanks. They have to back off. And Hydras are forced back. Protoss army responds, does react, runs into a wall. And bases are falling. Nidus into the main as well. Thankfully, there are some cannons. But do they notice? Oh, I don't think they have. Yeah, Sounder otherwise idle here on the left-hand side, and Nidus rooms they do complete. And lurkers, they're going for the bases, they're going for the main. Workers are going down. Tech as well, getting to the mineral lines. And I don't think there's any detection here. You know, overseers are still on the way. Lurkers, they do trade well. Oh my god, they shut down some of the tech. But with the arrival of the Overseers, this should be cleaned up. At the same time, the Mech Army pushing in. Oh, we have liberation. We have freedom. Liberation zones, they pop up. They shut down the army. I like how you've got like Wagon and Abba like fighting for their lives, and Sounder's out here knocking down rocks. It's like, mate, they need you. Don't worry about it. Stores are pushing in. Mate, someone has to handle these rocks. I understand. As he's at least in position to deal with these roaches. Roach is going to be dealt with. Base is going to be going down. Like a surround, like this Charger Archon army coming in from behind. Oh, there's no detection. No detection. Lurkers, they get free damage. The move command. Move commands past the roaches and hydras. But unironically, like this army surrounding coming in from behind would have been ideal to just collapse on in and just surround this and clean this up. There was definitely a lot of potential. But here comes the Tempest. Tempest have made it. And they have a lot of kiting potential. Oh, Liberators are on siege. Massive storm. Storm goes off. Liberators pushing in. They stand in the storms. Oh my god. The storm. They shut down the limbs. That should not have happened. Every single Liberator is going to go down. Insane damage with the storms. Let's go. If there was a reaction, if there was kiting or a better spread there from the Terran, I do think the Tempest count would have been reset. The Liberators had so much potential. Despite that, the Thor army is pushing in, moving toward the bases. Libs, they zone away the ground. Tempest, they will clean this up though. There's an offensive warp in. Thor's going for the main. They catch out the mutas from the start of the game. You can see Zealous, they do so well against mech. They caught out the tanks. Thors, they shut down the Colossus. Only Tempest remain. And the Tempest army is going to crumble. As the Tempest are going down. And with that, the Zerg player's dead. There is no more Zerg here. The Mule's... oh god, Mule's under the storm. Libs still go down. Yeah, from here, Abba, he's out of this game. We do see that Wagon, he's building up a Tempest army. Yeah, now we have a big counterattack. Now Sounder's army is now finally being activated with Mass Charger Archon. And back at home, there is an army to defend, but it's out of position. Like, we have all these tanks, we have all these libs here on the right-hand side, not towards the left. So Sounder, he is getting a lot done here. And this is who? This is Demonic and King. They're not quite responding. They're not responding to the attack. There we go. There's a late response here. As CCs are going down. They were pulling a Sounder. That's where it's being cleaned up as well. With that, we have Mutas on the way. Interesting. So if they get in position. Now, there are still all these mining bases towards the left-hand side, so the economy is still quite robust from our, at least, Protoss players. The Zerg is down to a handful of workers, so again, the Zerg is out for the time being. It's mainly double Protoss here against Zerg and Terran. In saying that, actually, both Zerg players are pretty much out of this game. When it comes to the blue Zerg player, this is the army. 5 lurkers. 5 lurkers from the blue Zerg. A couple of mutas from the red Zerg. It's mainly a TVP. It's mainly Terran versus Protoss at this point. Oh, we have storms. Storms coming into play. Libs, they have arrived. As the Zerg players, they're both like trying to do something. They're morphing in more lurkers. Freedom has arrived. I'm not too fond of this. They're bullying like the Zerg economy, but I don't think you need to. Like the Zerg players are already, for the most part, out of this. Ooh, as the mutas, they get completely reset. Again, chasing down the drones. Whereas the ground army does break through. And again, these libs will be ideal defensively. Likewise, where are the tanks? Once again, the army's out of position. Mech army has to respond. Know where it needs to be. Those are on their own. And they're going to be shut down. Doors are falling. Libs are busy across the map dealing with carriers. And this ground army is just being allowed to wreak havoc. The tanks, there's no siege. They will force it back. Forcing back the Protoss. Oof, okay. Not again. I'm getting deja vu, Pappy. The storms. The storms on the Libs. Not again. Now the army's moving out. But again, this army specifically is very vulnerable to charge lots. Typically, when you play mech like this, you need Hellbats. You need so many Hellbats here to support the army, to protect these tanks. Otherwise, this happens. Zealots, they get on top. They force friendly fire. One tank goes down, and the rest of the army just collapses on in. Again, there's just not enough support for the tanks. Tanks, they get completely shut down. And with that, the army crumbles. Now the Liberators come in. Liberators are late. Now they can be focused down as well. And from here, we're just snowballing out of control. There isn't really much left. We have a handful of lurkers moving out. That's the Zerg army. Tanks once again attempting to reposition. But whether it's Hellbat support, whether it would have been Liberators, you know, Cyclones, anything to buffer for those tanks. This is also why mech in TVP, like in 1v1 format, is very niche. It's very often not seen, just because not even just Charger Archon, but Charger Archon Immortal does very well, trades very efficiently against mech-based compositions. It's very difficult to make mech work. Can be quite difficult. With that, the Hellbats are not quite here. I mean, the Archons, they just break through anyway. Breaking through the line of Hellbats, breaking through the tank line as well. Base is going down. And with that, the Archons, they can just move in. They can just move in. They can send it. Likewise, we have the second Protoss army hitting bottom right. We got some Sky Toss sprinkled in with some Storm. And the Terran armies are just being pulled apart left and right. Going for what little's left here of the Zerg army as well. Oh no. Get out of here. And there isn't really much left here for our players. Checking the armies tab here, we have 15 Thors. Jesus, I'm not too fond of this. Like, what's the role of the Thor? The Thor is here, I guess, against what, Skytoss? But there's not really much Skytoss here. Like, Thors, they struggle against what we're seeing, against Chargelots, against Archons. Thors are not really what you want, as they do high damage to individual units, which is why they struggle against Lings, for example, or against Chargelots here. Against a swarm of units. It's almost like he saw all of his tanks die, so he just switched into Mass Thor, when really, ideally, you want like a mixture of the two. Like, if his thought process is that, okay, he needs some kind of, like, support for his tanks, then Thor's, okay, it makes sense, but... Well, let's go with the Nidus! Nidus is getting into the main, I guess, of the Zerg, who was already out of this game as well. At least somewhat. They have an economy. They have 2 bases up and running. Let's go. He has, what? 4 mutas. This is the army. 4 mutas. Building up more. You know, the carriers are moving out. I still feel like there's no real answer here to the ground toss, but we'll see. We'll see how they engage. Rotating over. Rotating. Both Protoss armies have maxed. They're both maxed out. I also just realized, hold up, I didn't notice this because the numbers are so small. This blue Zerg player has been hoarding 5,000 minerals. Mate, what's it? Share the resources, Bobby. Oh my god, it's got 5k minerals in the bank. He should be trading resources at this point. I mean, he's making lings, but he only has 2 bases, so he just has no larva, so he can't spend his money. He should be sharing. Ay, ay, ay. Even if it's just for like helium production, still better than nothing. Regardless, we're going for a base trade. The mech army moves in. At the same time, here comes the Protoss army. He's just going for the elimination, going for the bases. There is no recall. Do they turn around? They have to make a tough choice. They have to at this point. They have to turn around. There's no way for them to win the base trade as all the buildings are falling. The planetary does take down some of the Archons, as we do need some more Archon support. Guys pushing in. Mutas, they do come in to help. Breaking into the main. And these armies may just never fight. At this point, they may just never fight. As there is a gas geyser towards bottom right. There's a gas geyser, there's a Nidus Worm, so these buildings might come into play. The drone is he saves the drone. Morphs in a hatchery. Let's go. But the problem is that our blue team here, they're just running out of buildings so much faster. And I believe there aren't any other workers on the map. So again, these are going to be the final buildings. Likewise, back at home, we have some reinforcements, and yeah, they're tapping out. Yeah, they're going to be tapping out at this point. The writing is on the wall. There's no making out of this. And GG gets called. Team Sounder, Team Bud Air, they will take it. They will take the game. GG. Was a much more chaotic game is what I will say, which I appreciated. Much more chaotic. Early on, I mean, the Zerg players just killed each other. Like, early on, the Zerg players just fell over and died. It just turned into, like, 2v2s more than anything. I do think that, unfortunately, there was some miscommunication when it comes to, like, army movements and army rotations as well. From both sides, to be fair, from both sides. And did allow the Charger Archon to like break through these defensive lines, get into bases as well. We saw multiple times the tanks out of position, not where they needed to be, caught on siege as well, multiple times. GG. GG, well played. Congrats, Pappy, congrats. To take the game. And I believe there's one game left. I believe there's one game left for us to cover. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Let's go. It was during the stream actually with Hyper One. Hyper One did redeem a replay, and I don't know what we're getting ourselves into. I assumed it was going to be an SC Evo replay, but no, not the case, not the case. It is going to be a StarCraft 2 replay. Oh no, it is going to be an SC2 replay instead. It is going to be a TVT. Hyper One, what do you have for us here? On Amygdala as well. Oh no, not like this. Hold on, I got you. Bam. So I don't really know what I'm stepping into. I'm picturing though like a 40-minute game. I'm not if I'm stumbling into a TVT by Hyper One, it's not gonna end well, is it? Oh no. Let's go. Let's jump in. Hi, Patito. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás, papi? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? As here we go. We're getting to our final viewer replay of the night. The final one we have in the bottom left-hand corner, the red Terran player for Root Gaming. It is Vast. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Terran player, the blue Terran. For Team Hyper One, it is Hyper One. Let's go. Here we go. Repping Team Hyper One from Hyper One is Hyper One. Crazy, crazy. Let's go. As we are going to be settling into Amygdala. Amygdala, of course, one of the larger maps in that pool, one of the larger maps known for longer game states as well, especially in a TBT. I am concerned. We have seen a lot of turtle play in the current map pool, in the current matchups. A lot of these maps are favoring more defensive, more turtle play as well. So that's what I'm concerned by, but we'll see, we'll see. Like, typically it's one of the extremes. Like, typically if someone redeems a replay, it's because, one, there was some hyper cheese and hyper aggression. Two, it's because the smudge is real and it was like a 45-minute game. One or the other. I was planning on having a ladder session after this, but it will depend on how long this game is. I'll be honest. Oh, speak of cheese, let's go! SV has arrived. Show us the Raxus. Show us the Raxus, Pappy. Send it, Pappy. Send it. Don't fail us. My eyes are on the SCB. Let's go. Proxy you've been watching too much Horn Mono. No, Hyper. What have you done, Pappy? What have you? Stop listening to Horn Mono, Pappy. He's an animal. He's an animal. As we're going for a proxy factory into, I would imagine, a proxy 111 proxy tank question mark. What's it gonna be? Este Hyper One. Homo doesn't have the balls for this. True. God. Aye. What are we going for? Do we go for the tech lab? Do we go for the tank? Show us what you got. Do we go proxy BC with a 111? Now, okay, 111. Tech lab is on the way. Are we feeling tank? No. Thor drop? Armory's on the way. This has to be for a Thor. Quanta, is that you? Yo, every time we see a Thor drop, like, I reminisce about Quanta. We got a lot of love for Quanta on this channel. Let's go. But the tech lab is done. Armory halfway done as well. We're getting there, and this should be a proxy Thor. I would imagine. It would make the most sense. As the armory is still not quite done, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Armory just about to finish. Medevac's going to be on the way. And show us the Thors. Show us the drop. Let's go. Meanwhile, Vasa, we've been focusing a lot on Hyper 1 as the Thor has begun. Vas back at home, he did have an SCV scout, did get eyes on the opener. Back at home, going for the CC on the higher ground, he has his own 111 setup, going into an earlier tank. Very early tank production here by Vast, which would be good defensively, don't get me wrong, can even turn this into a more aggressive build, but he isn't quite in position to deal with something like a Thor. Oh boy. As Vast is getting in position to expand. Taking is natural. Meanwhile, the first Thor will soon arrive. And the drop is coming. And again, there's no Viking, there's no Cyclone. More importantly, the tank is on the low ground. Marines are going to be struggling. These are vanilla Marines, no stim this early on. There's potential. There's a lot of potential for damage. And here we go. We boost in, and the Thor drops into the Mineral Lion. SCVs are going to be going down. Oh, going for the tank as well. Can he shut it down? Tank does pull away, but he can one-shot SCVs. It's crazy. Going for the tank. Tank takes a lot of hits. Tank goes down. Ooh, the Thor taking a lot of damage as well. Oh no! A bit of miscontrol. The failed pick of the Thor goes down. That's actually a big loss for Hyper 1. That's a big loss. We should have been seeing double Thor drop into the main. But last, the first Thor does go down. Now we have two medevacs and only one Thor. He's going to be boosting back home. I mean, I guess it can help. And Marines can reinforce. And now Vasi's holding. He's holding, he's defending. Vasi's up in workers, he's up in economy. He has two bases compared to the one of Hyper 1. And Vasi's looking for the proxy. Does move out. Actually going for a counter attack instead. Okay, he's moving out for the counter attack. Meanwhile, you have the second Thor into the main. Getting more SCVs. And where are we going exactly? Like, knocking down these rocks don't really do much. Wait, what? Does he think the gold has been taken? What's happening? What? Like, he turns back around. Spent a lot of time on that massive tumor. So a bit of a mystery, potentially not really being fully aware of the map itself. Boys are being pulled in. And we're losing too much here at this point. So this Thor is getting so much damage. 14 SEV kills. Thor does not go down this time. Is saved. Hopping a micro. Marines, they bust into the mineral line. And Voss is being pulled apart. He gets across the map. He's pushing up into the main. But again, this push was delayed. And Hyper One, he just he lifts. He evacuates. He gets the hell out of here. We'll take a lot of hits here on these SEVs. Oh my god, so many SEVs go down. But some of them make it out, and that's what's important. Some of them do survive. Both players trying to lift. Thor is being repaired. And who do we favor in this position here? Marines, they get dropped off. There's a lot of damage being dealt to the Marines. Oof. Hopefully it does unload in time. Hopefully. Oh my god, almost full medevac goes down. Ay, ay, ay. Doesn't unload in time. Medevac falls. Boys are here, but they're here to die to the Viking. As the Viking is in position. A bit of a move command though, as the Thor does hit the main, and GG gets called. He hits the main base, takes down the tank, and Hyper One will take the game. GG. Ah. What the hell did I just watch? As the Thor got into the main, tank went down. There was nothing else. There was nothing left. There was just the one Viking. And of course, the CC was saved, just barely being repaired as well. Almost burned down. Jesus. Almost did burn, saved on 7 HP. GG. GG. Oh my god. Hyper One does take it, and with that, well played, Pappy, well played to Hyper One, to Sando as well, for the submitted replays. Thank you, do appreciate it. Something a little bit less serious, something a little bit more laid back, just some ladder games from our players, ladder games in 1v1 and in 2v2 and 3v3 as well. GG, well played. And with that, we're wrapping up. With that, we are wrapping up for the day. It's been a long cast, actually. Didn't expect this to go that long. 4 hours. 4-hour cast. I was going to ladder a little bit today. Technically, I could. We also have some work to do though, so maybe just a short ladder session. I don't really have a lot of the luxury of having much time to ladder, but may as well just have a cheeky stream, maybe for like 2 hours, just a couple of games here and there. It's been like over a week since we've laddered, so I like playing the game. I like playing StarCraft. I like laddering, but we just don't have time. We have a lot of casting to do. So unfortunately, we don't really get too much time to play. But may as well ladder for a couple of hours, for a little bit. Short ladder stream. Beautiful. Okay, so with that, thanks for watching, thanks for support. We're going to be heading off here for the time being. We're going to be back in, what, 7 hours? 8 hours. We're going to be back in 8 hours time with the Wardy TV Monday with some more StarCraft. I'm going to head off. I'm going to head over to my personal channel to ladder for like an hour or two. Not too much, because I do plan on sleeping before Wardy TV Monday, so I can be well rested. I can be well prepared for the cast to come. That is the plan. So just going to be a bit of a shorter stream instead. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for support. We'll see you guys next time. If you want to support us here on the CranKy Ducklings, you can do so via Patreon. You can see our Patreon is set up. We are close to our next goal, 400 USD, to boost the prize pool of our tournament. So you can support us on Patreon. You can follow us on all the social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. If you want to follow us, you can. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later tonight for Wardy TV Monday, or we'll see you tomorrow for some Pigosaur Monday and some Little League Cup instead. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. See you then. Thanks for watching, thanks for the support. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, ciao. Hasta luego.